Chapter 244. Gu Lingqing had a bad feeling. It wasn't 6 in the morning yet. If the 111 Special Disciplinary Team didn't have evidence, they wouldn't come. The 111 Special Disciplinary Team was responsible for monitoring the activities of spies. And Ying's rescue of Xiao Tian was too smooth. It was so smooth that he felt there was something wrong. Sure enough. "Let them in," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. 8 people from the 111 Special Disciplinary Team came. They all looked serious and unhappy. They showed their credentials to Gu Lingqing. "Someone reported that you took away a name list by force." "What name list?" Gu Lingqing didn't know. The Special Disciplinary Team looked at the guard. Gu Lingqing waved his hand. "Leave." The guard knew it was a military secret. He didn't dare to stay. He left quickly and closed the door. The Special Disciplinary Team said, "It's a name list of the spies from the Ministry of State Security." "Why do I need this name list?" Gu Lingqing asked. "So, we suspect that you are also working as a spy for other countries," the Special Disciplinary Team said seriously. "My father is the vice president. I'm a general, the chief of the special forces. I'm a popular candidate for the presidential election. Do you think I would be a spy?" Gu Lingqing retorted. "Chief, we're just doing our job," the Special Disciplinary Team said. "Sure, please," Gu Lingqing said. He sat on the sofa and closed his eyes. The Special Disciplinary Team was checking the room. The head of the Special Disciplinary Team was accompanying Gu Lingqing in the living room. He looked very serious. After all, Gu Lingqing's identity was special. "Chief, I found it." One of the Special Disciplinary Team walked out of the room where Xiao Tian was sleeping. He held a vase in his hand. "It's in the vase." The leader of the Special Discipline Inspection Team took out the name list and looked at Gu Lingqing. "We'll have to trouble you to come with us, Chief." Gu Lingqing looked at the leader suspiciously. He frowned. "I don't even know what you're holding in your hand. How can you be so sure that it's the name list you're looking for?" "The name list is wrapped in special paper, and the paper pulp is also special. Before I came, I received the outline of the name list," said the leader of the Special Discipline Inspection Team. "Was it your people who put the things in my vase to frame me?" Gu Lingqing said harshly. The disciplinary inspector's face turned pale. "I didn't. How could I dare? I can't even get my hands on this name list. How could I frame them?" "Sir, please come with us. If he isn't a spy, he will definitely prove your innocence. But if you don't come with us now, there will be a major agreement," the leader of the Special Discipline Inspection Team said. Gu Lingqing stood up, straightened her clothes, took out her mobile phone, dialed a number, and said concisely, "Help me take care of the kid in my apartment. We'll talk about it when I come back." After the video call with Xiao Tian, Baiya fell asleep in a daze. She slept until 10:00 in the morning when she was woken up by Qing Jinrong's phone call. As he hadn't slept well, he had a splitting headache. He sat up, massaged his temples, and answered the call. "Are you at the police station now?" "I'm here," Qing Jinrong said politely. Baiya remembered that she had to go to the police station today. "I'm sorry, I'll come over now." Baiya hung up the phone and went to the washroom. She splashed cold water on her face to wake herself up. She brushed her teeth, washed up, put on some light makeup, and tied her hair up. Just as she was about to go out, her mobile phone rang again. She saw that it was an unknown number and suspected that it was Su Jiran, so she hung up the phone. Now that Xiao Tian had been rescued, she didn't want to have any contact with Su Jiran anymore. Su Jiran was furious when he was hung up on. He sneered, and a malicious look appeared in his eyes, giving rise to a wave of hatred. Baiya was burning the bridge after crossing the river, right? In that case, he didn't need to show any mercy. Su Jiran sent a message over with a devilish charm. Do you want to see Gu Lingqing die? When Baiya saw the message, her heart skipped a beat. She quickly called Gu Lingqing. Her call was painful, but no one picked up. She had a bad feeling, so she called Su Jiran back. Su Jiran hung up on her. Baiya's heart was beating fast. She called Su Jiran again, but Su Jiran's phone was turned off. Baiya walked out of the hotel in a daze. She pulled Su Jiran's number back into the whitelist and called Su Jiran's previous phone. Su Jiran picked up the call and said in a strange tone, "You're not calm now. Did Gu Lingqing say something about you?" Su Jiran, you were the one who sent that message, right? What do you mean by this? What do you want to do to Gu Lingqing? Baiya questioned, holding back her anger that was about to explode. He was really like a haunting ghost that kept on haunting them, making them irritated. I warned you before, don't think about it. I've been waiting for you for more than 3 years with all my heart. What about you? What did you do to me? Su Jiran was even angrier than Baiya. You can't force feelings. When you didn't like me, I waited for you for 3 years. Did I take revenge on you? Did I hurt your woman? Baiya was very upset. That's because you don't have the ability to take revenge, and you don't have the ability to hurt me. You're just a coward. What do you want? What did you do to Gu Lingqing? Baiya raised her voice. When you told Gu Lingqing that little Tian was in my hands, did you think about the result? When you and Gu Lingqing set me up, you should have already thought about this. I'm not someone you can set up and play with. Let me tell you now, Gu Lingqing has been taken away by 111 Special Discipline Inspection, and his reputation will be ruined. If he's lucky, he'll just be stripped of his military status. If he's unlucky, he'll be identified as a spy and shot to death, Su Jiran said with a smile. You're exaggerating. How could Gu Lingqing be a spy? Baiya did not believe it. He was the most magnificent, responsible soldier she had ever met. How could he be a spy? Even if she said she was a spy, she would not believe that Gu Lingqing was a spy. He stole the important name list from me to carry out espionage. Isn't he a spy? Yesterday, he even wanted to requisition a piece of land. There are military weapons buried under that piece of land. Do you know about this? Su Jiran asked with a smile. There are military weapons under the piece of land he requisitioned yesterday. How is that possible? Baiya was still in shock. That piece of land is in Jinyuan City. Since you're in Jinyuan City now, you can go and take a look around that piece of land. See if there's a large number of armed forces stationed there to clean up the weapons. You'll know if I'm telling the truth after you take a look, Su Jiran said with certainty. Chapter 245. How could this be? How could this be? Wasn't that piece of land supposed to hide the treasure? When did it become a military weapon? Could it be that the treasure was a military weapon? That didn't make sense. That was an ancient map. There were no military weapons in ancient times. Could it be that this was a trap set up by Su Jiran? Which part of the plan went wrong? Baiya pulled herself together. I'll contact you later. She hung up the phone and walked out of the hotel. At the same time, she called Qing Jinrong. Qing Jinrong, I want to ask, where is the piece of land you wanted to buy? Can you send me the address? Baiya asked anxiously. What's wrong? Is that piece of land the key to solving the case? Qing Jinrong was confused. A lot of military weapons were found on that piece of land. Do you know about this? Baiya asked as she walked to the roadside. You said that a lot of military weapons were found on that piece of land. How is that possible? Do you mean swords, guns, or bombs? Qing Jinrong asked in confusion. It should be guns and explosives. I don't know the details, so I want to go and take a look, Baiya said. Okay, I got it. Where are you? I'll come to pick you up and bring you there, Qing Jinrong said as he ran to his car. I'm at the entrance of Jinyuan International Hotel. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Baiya hung up the phone and called Gu Lingqing again. She still couldn't get through. She called Song Shiyu, and Song Shiyu answered. Baiya, ever since you got together with our Lingqing, nothing good has ever happened to him. 3 years ago, he almost died. Now, he almost died again, and he even lost his reputation. You caused my Lingqing's death. Are you happy? Song Shiyu scolded as soon as she answered the phone. Baiya's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that Su Jiran was telling the truth. What's the situation in Lingqing now? It's none of your business. I'll tell you, can you help? No, you will only be a burden. Oh right, did you frame Lingqing on purpose? Song Shiyu was even angrier. Gu Lingqing is my husband. Why would I hurt him? Baiya said with certainty. Did you tell Lingqing that Tian is your child? Song Shiyu asked. Baiya was stunned. That's what I said. How is little Tian now? You're still thinking about that bastard. Lingqing said he went to Su Jiran's place to look for his child, not to steal the confidential list. However, through the DNA test, the child is not Lingqing's at all. Now they think Lingqing is lying. Very good. Also, are you the one who wants the Lingqing syndrome? Using that piece of land in Jinyuan City? Song Shiyu asked angrily. Baiya's mind went blank. How was it possible that little Tian was not Gu Lingqing's child? Could it be that the person who raped her 6 years ago was not Gu Lingqing? Her world collapsed at this moment. You don't dare to admit it. That piece of land is full of military weapons. Lingqing still refuses to tell me the reason why he requisitioned that piece of land. I've asked many lawyers. The possibility of Lingqing being identified as a spy is 95%. You killed him. Baiya, you will die a horrible death, Song Shiyu cursed. Baiya's arm dropped, and her phone fell to the ground. How could this be? How could this be? How could this be? Gu Lingqing, she couldn't let anything happen to Gu Lingqing. Baiya immediately picked up her phone and called Su Jiran. What do you want? Su Jiran sneered. Baiya, why don't you believe me every time? You have to ask around before you believe me. Why isn't little Tian Gu Lingqing's child? Baiya asked in shock. If you don't break your promise and get together with me, you will naturally see your biological son. Little Tian is just a test. I spent 3 years to make little Tian look like you and Gu Lingqing. Do you think it was easy for me? Su Jiran said coldly. Baiya felt a chill run down her spine. It was her. It was really her. She killed Gu Lingqing. She was deceived. She was like a stupid idiot. She judged that little Tian was her and Gu Lingqing's child based on his appearance. She didn't even do a DNA test. It was her. It was her. It was all her fault. What about that piece of land? What's going on? After asking this question, Baiya pressed the record button. Su Jiran laughed. How would I know? Gu Lingqing is a spy or the leader of a terrorist organization. It's normal for him to collect some firearms. You're lying. I asked Gu Lingqing to buy that piece of land. Am I a spy too? Baiya was agitated. Xiaoya, you pressed the record button. Are you still going to betray me? It doesn't matter if you betray me, but Gu Lingqing must die, Su Jiran said with certainty. Baiya broke down. Her every move was under Su Jiran's control. How did he do it? Baiya turned off the record button. How do you know all of this? The phone you use is specially made by me. There's no chip in it. I connected wirelessly. When you're in the military, there's anti-surveillance equipment in the military. As long as I don't connect to your phone wirelessly, I won't be monitored. But once you leave the military, I can monitor your phone wirelessly 24 hours a day. I can hear the status of your phone, the words you say, and the messages you send to Gu Lingqing, Su Jiran explained. He was bored. He had given up on Baiya. Her coldness and heartlessness ignited his ambition for revenge. This was good too. He was no longer tied down by his emotions. He could do whatever he wanted to do. Not letting Xing Bachuan go was also an explanation to his father. Baiya was dead silent. She had completely surrendered to fate. What do I have to do to let Gu Lingqing go? Divorce Gu Lingqing and let Gu Lingqing marry Zhou Hailan. Then, I'll let Gu Lingqing go, Su Jiran said coldly. Su Jiran said coldly, you better be fast. Within a week, Gu Lingqing will definitely be convicted. How can I be sure that you'll save him? Baiya didn't trust Su Jiran and asked. Baiya, you don't have a choice. You don't trust me, and I don't trust you either. If I save him, what if you continue to pester him? So, before I save him, I'll inject you with the virus. Only I have the antidote. If you agree, come to my house. If not, it's up to you. I'm hanging up. Su Jiran hung up. Actually, she didn't care about the virus. If Gu Lingqing died, she wouldn't be alive either. Chapter 246. Baiya. Baiya stood by the side of the road in a daze for a long time. She only came back to her senses when Qing Jinrong called her. She looked at Qing Jinrong in the car, still in a trance. She was reviewing everything she had done wrong. Human confidence came from ignorance, and human complacency also came from ignorance. She thought that she was very smart, and she even thought that telling Gu Lingqing about little Tian was the right choice. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be a conspiracy. She thought that she was smart, that she was not capable enough, that she was nothing, and that she thought that she could analyze things clearly. All her past actions now seemed more like that of a clown. She struggled and lingered on, but all her actions were under the control of others. It didn't matter if she died. There was no joy in life, and no sorrow in death. However, because of Gu Lingqing's trust in her, Gu Lingqing's reputation was ruined, and his life was in danger. It was all her fault. She shouldn't have appeared again. Song Shiyu was right. After she appeared, nothing good happened to Gu Lingqing. If she hadn't appeared, Gu Lingqing wouldn't have liked her anymore. He would have been with Zhou Hailan naturally, and their child would have been found soon. Zhou Hailan also had meritorious service. Since they were able to be together before, it meant that they appreciated each other and were attracted to each other. He would have been very happy, and his career would have been very smooth. She was an unlucky person. Qing Jinrong noticed that Baiya was acting strangely. He walked to Baiya, but she stood still. Baiya, Qing Jinrong called out. Baiya looked at him, and the mist condensed into tears, rolling down from her eyes. She was too guilty, too blaming herself, and too sorry. What's wrong? Qing Jinrong asked worriedly. Baiya shook her head. Let's go to the construction site first. Okay. Qing Jinrong opened the front passenger seat. Baiya walked in and put on her seatbelt. Qing Jinrong was driving. It'll take us an hour and a half to get there. Baiya replied. She looked out of the window and her tears couldn't stop flowing. Ching Jinrong glanced at Bai Ye. Did you quarrel with your husband again? Bai Ye said nothing. If you feel pain, then let's separate. Otherwise, it will worsen your condition. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Life is about finding a companion and walking with him. Love grows with time. Slowly, the love for the past will fade, and you will accept the people who accompany you. A person's heart changes. Didn't your love transfer from your ex-husband to your current husband? Similarly, the love you have for your husband will also be transferred to another person. After a year, the problem will no longer be a problem. Ching Jinrong comforted her. Bai Ye smiled bitterly. Even if she had to spend the rest of her life alone, she would never look for another man. Her love was all given to a man called Gu Lingqing. Even if she didn't get together with this man, she would be happy as long as he was happy. When she was young, she would still read novels. The love in the novels was too perfect, and it highlighted the cruelty of reality. In reality, how many people who loved each other were together, and how many people who were together loved each other? After people who loved each other got together, how long would this relationship last? She wanted to cry, but what could she change after crying? Nothing could be changed. If Bai Bing had committed suicide with her, she wouldn't have been saved by her neighbor. Perhaps she wouldn't have been able to see so much cruelty. She would have died with her mother, and there would have been warmth in her heart. At least, when she died, she wouldn't have been so lonely with her mother. She wouldn't have been like this, unable to call for help and living a life worse than death every day. Ching Jinrong saw that Bai Ye's emotions weren't right. He stopped at the side and looked at Bai Ye worriedly. Bai Ye cried louder and louder. Her crying made Ching Jinrong's eyes wet. If you feel uncomfortable, you can tell me. You'll feel better. Why don't we compete and see who's more miserable? Maybe you'll feel better, Ching Jinrong smiled and persuaded. In the past, she was sad because she couldn't get over it. She felt that the whole world had wronged her. Now, she was sad because she had let down Gu Lingqing. All the mistakes were her own. In the past, she didn't trust Gu Lingqing, so she was sad. Now, she was sad because Gu Lingqing trusted her. People were always contradictory. When they came to their senses, it was already too late. Only then would they feel even more vexed and regretful. Bai Ye took a tissue and wiped her eyes. Let's go to that piece of land. Ching Jinrong looked at Bai Ye worriedly and drove. Bai Ye exhaled. It was strange. She didn't act up this time. Was it because she had made up her mind? Xiao Wei and I grew up as childhood sweethearts. We went to primary school, middle school, high school, and university together. We had a good relationship before middle school. We confirmed our relationship in high school. She wanted to get married after university and I wanted to start my own business after university. She waited for me for years and years. My temper got worse and worse until she left. I didn't even try to persuade her to stay, Ching Jinrong recalled. It seems like she didn't really want to leave you. She just hoped that you would care about her a little more and change for her, Bai Ye guessed. I didn't change. Because I got drunk one time, I had sex with my subordinate. My subordinate was Xiao Wei's best friend, so she naturally got together with me. I've been holding back my temper. After talking to you that time, I realized how bad I was to Xiao Wei in the past. She's been waiting for you. So, you want to go back? Bai Ye asked. Yes, I want to go back, so I broke up with Yang and I. Bai Ye looked ahead with drooping eyes. In the novel, the male protagonist would be clean and self-loving. Even if there were misunderstandings with the female protagonist, he would eventually return to the female protagonist and live happily together. In reality, the male protagonist would have sex with another woman. When the male protagonist came to his senses, the female protagonist would have been murdered. I will definitely help you find the murderer. After confirming that there are really firearms dug out from that piece of land, I will go to the police station with you, Baya promised. Su Jiran gave her a week's time. As for Xiaowei, she only needed 3 days at most. She had promised before. She didn't want to break every promise she made. 1.5 hours later, they arrived near that piece of land. There were many soldiers stationed nearby to prevent people from getting close. Qing Jinrong found a nearby resident and passed him a cigarette. Brother, why are there so many soldiers here? They came in the middle of the night and found a lot of firearms. It's so scary. It's actually near our village. We locals don't even know about it, the resident said. Chapter 247. Before she went back, she bought a new phone. For safety reasons, she changed her phone card number. On the way to the police station, she copied the phone number of everyone she knew, including Su Jiran, and sent him a message. Su Jiran received Baya's message and called back immediately. Baya answered. You changed your phone number. Trying to escape. His tone was very disdainful. If I wanted to escape, I wouldn't have sent you a message. I've decided to agree to your request, but I still have something to deal with here. I'll probably be back the day after tomorrow. When I come back, I'll go to your place, Baya said coldly. He still wants to struggle, but he won't succeed this time. The power is in my hands. If I want him to die, he can only die, Su Jiran said arrogantly and confidently. Su Jiran, sometimes you're very conceited, Baya said. It's not a flaw, Su Jiran replied coldly. Qing Jinrong is my friend. His ex-girlfriend was killed, and I promised to help him find the murderer. So, I'll stay for 2 days, Baya explained. You're quite greedy. Gu Lingqing is going to die, but you still have the mood to save others. Do you know how Gu Lingqing feels? A poor man meeting a heartless woman. He can only be sad, Su Jiran sneered proudly. Baya looked in front of her indifferently. What he wanted to think was his business. She was too lazy to explain. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up, Baya said coldly. See you tonight. Su Jiran hung up. Baya's heart skipped a beat. What did he mean by tonight? Qing Jinrong looked at Baya holding the phone in a daze and said apologetically, Is it your husband's? If she's not satisfied with you helping me, you don't have to help. It's not your business anyway. I feel bad for making you fight. No, my husband. Since I've promised, I have to do it. Let's go to the police station first. Baya put away her phone. She was still a little worried. She had asked Gu Lingqing to help arrange for Gu Lingqing to be in charge of this case, but now that something had happened to Gu Lingqing, would it still be effective? She walked into the police station anxiously and knocked on the door of the chief's office. Hello, I'm Baya. Oh, expert. Nice to meet you. I thought you would come in the morning. Welcome, welcome, said the director warmly. Baya heaved a sigh of relief. Judging from the director's attitude, he probably didn't know about Gu Lingqing. It was also possible that Gu Lingqing had asked his subordinates to find someone to greet them. It was a good thing that the news of Gu Lingqing's death had not spread like wildfire. I want to see the condition of the girl who died at home yesterday, Baya said directly. You're talking about Qin Wei. They happen to be discussing this case. Thank you, Expert Bai, said the director warmly. It's my duty, Baya said. The director brought Baya to the meeting room. For a moment, Baya thought of Gu Lingqing's death. Her heart felt stuffy as if she was suffocating. Her body was surging with soreness and pain. She had to wake up and settle this matter as soon as possible. Stop for a moment. This is Baya, a psychologist recommended by the Provincial Bureau. She's in charge of this case. If you have any questions, discuss it with her and cooperate with her. The director cooperated. Baya nodded and sat down. No one spoke. They looked at each other. Tell me about the content of the text message. The victim was holding the phone in her hand. Who was she chatting with? Baya asked. Speaking of this, it's a little strange. The victim died between 1700 hours and 1830. Her family found her dead when they called her for dinner. During this time, she didn't go out, and the window was locked from the inside. Her parents were outside the room, and they said that no one went in. The parents said that no one had entered the room. Lysergic acid diethylamine was detected in the victim's body. It's a drug that can cause hallucinations or coma. However, the victim was with her parents for the previous hour. There were no special symptoms. So, we speculate that the drug was taken by mistake, causing her to hallucinate and commit suicide. At 1700 hours, the victim sent a text message to her ex-boyfriend. It was a very ordinary message, "Where are you?" Her ex-boyfriend didn't reply. We didn't see anything strange, a policeman said. Isn't there a surveillance camera outside their door? Baya asked. We've also checked the surveillance camera. Between 1700 hours and 1830 yesterday, no one entered or left Chin Wei's house. We also didn't find any signs of fighting in Chin Wei's room. Baya narrowed her eyes. I don't think so. Who would commit suicide with a phone in one hand and a knife in the other, and there's no special content on the phone? She took the drug by mistake. Her reaction would definitely be abnormal, a policeman retorted. Where did the drug come from? How did the victim take it by mistake? Did you find the drug at the scene? If you didn't, then this can't be explained. Moreover, if there's something strange in the room, can't her parents hear anything? It's impossible for her to take the drug and just lie on the bed, holding the phone in one hand and committing suicide with the other. Baya imagined this scene. The policeman also felt that it was a fantasy. They looked at each other. Are Chin Wei's parents still in the police station? Baya asked. In the lounge next door. Baya immediately got up and went next door. Ching Jinrong was there. Chin Wei's parents were there. Uncle, Auntie, I want to ask, after Chin Wei entered the room. Did you notice anything strange after Chin Wei entered the room? Baya asked. No, we were watching TV. Little Wei is very obedient. We thought she was reading a book inside. Chen Wei's mother said. What habits and hobbies does Chen Wei have? Baya asked. She's a homebody. She doesn't go out much. She won't offend anyone. Chen Wei's mother said. Ching Jinrong seemed to remember something. He said to Baya, Little Wei likes to drink freshly ground coffee. She drinks it when she's in a good mood. She drinks it when she's in a bad mood. I once gave her a coffee machine. She always put it in her room. However, I didn't see it at the scene. Does she drink it every day? Baya asked. Every day after returning home, at about 17 o'clock, she makes coffee and drinks it. Chen Wei's mother said. Did she buy coffee beans or take the coffee machine out yesterday? No. So, it must be a murder. Someone knows Chen Wei's habit. So, between the night before Chen Wei fell asleep and last night at 17 o'clock, someone put the drug into the coffee machine. Chen Wei sent a message to you and drank the coffee. She was holding the phone, waiting for your reply. She became more and more sleepy, and then she fell asleep. At this time, someone stabbed Chen Wei's heart with a dagger and took away the coffee machine and coffee cups, Baya said to Ching Jinrong. Who is that person? Qing Jinrong was suspicious. Chapter 248. Chen Wei's parents also went to watch the video. Between 9 p.m. the day before yesterday and 17 p.m. yesterday, no one went to Chen Wei's house, and no one was particularly suspicious. Everything was calm. Baiya watched the video 3 more times, but he still couldn't find any suspicious person. Could it be that Xiao Wei bought hallucinogens herself? Impossible. Mei Xiao Wei is very obedient, she wouldn't buy these things. She also has nothing to worry about. Chen Wei's mother said, puzzled. I'm going to kill those bastards. Chen Wei's father said excitedly. Baiya could read his father's mood and thought that it was those people who harassed his daughter. Uncle, calm down, the possibility of your daughter eating hallucinogens is 0. If she ate hallucinogens herself, it's not reasonable for her to hold the phone in her hand, let alone eat it with her coffee. We must have missed something. Baiya advised. I've watched the video several times, there's no murderer, no suspicious person. Could it be that the murderer crawled out from the ground? Chen Wei's father said sadly. Baiya suddenly understood, oh right, crawled out from the ground, let's go. If the murderer crawled out from the house, there must be a hole. It's been so long, it might not be blocked. Let's go quickly. Baiya rushed out of the meeting room, Qing Jinrong quickly followed, Chen Wei's parents and the police also followed. They arrived at Chen Wei's room. Chen Wei's room was only 15 square meters, not big. They began to look for a place to hide. Move the cabinet away. Baiya said to the police. The police moved the cabinet to the living room, and a black hole appeared on the ground. Chen Wei's mother saw it and immediately collapsed, my son. Baiya's mood was especially heavy. When there's a pair of eyes staring at you in the dark, even if you're in your own home, beside your family, those people will still be everywhere. They will crawl out from the dark ground and use a knife to cut off the life of others. How to guard against it, how to be cautious. Go down and see, where does it lead to? Baiya said. The police went down and came back after a while, reporting, it's a dead end, blocked by mud. What's going on? Chen Wei's father asked Baiya. The murderer blocked it to prevent us from finding her, Baiya explained. Then what should we do? Did my daughter die in vain? Chen Wei's mother said sadly. How much distance is left to cover now? Baiya asked the policeman. I walked in for 10 meters, and the diameter of the hole is about 80 centimeters, the policeman replied. The calculation of volume is pi times r2 multiplied by height. In other words, there are about 5 cubic meters of soil that hasn't been dealt with. Moreover, the soil that was dug out previously needs a place to be stored, and they didn't dare to dig it openly. Therefore, the murderer should be in the nearby residential area, Baiya analyzed. She looked at the police and ordered, first of all, get all the surveillance cameras in the vicinity. I want the footage from 9 p.m. the day before yesterday to 17 p.m. last night. Secondly, get the police to investigate the houses of the nearby residents as soon as possible. If there's a suspicious mound, it could be the work of the murderer. If they don't want to open the door, or if there's no one at home, it's best to find a way to enter the house and check if there's a place to store soil. Yes. The police were dispatched immediately. Baiya sat on Chen Wei's bed and pondered. We'll be able to find the murderer soon, right? Chen Wei's mother worriedly asked. We should be able to find the murderer soon. Moreover, the murderer is familiar with Chen Wei's living habits. The murder was also planned in advance. Baiya judged. Who killed my daughter? My daughter is very obedient, and she never offended anyone. Chen Wei's mother sobbed. Half an hour later, a policeman ran over and reported, we caught the murderer. He's in the back row. The policeman reported. Chen Wei's father was the first to rush out, followed by Qing Jinrong and Bai Ye. From afar, she saw a slender person wearing a black hoodie. She lowered her head and couldn't see what she looked like. Her body was covered with soil. Qing Jinrong went up and took away the hoodie on her head. He was surprised. "It's you. Who asked her to seduce my boyfriend? You broke up with me because of her." Yang and I roared. "I thought you could understand," Qing Jinrong said with an uneasy tone. "Qing Jinrong, you're a B***starred. I accompanied you in your business and slept with clients for you. You used me and treated me like a tool. How could you just dump me like that? I'm not that easy to bully. I'm unlucky to have been caught by you. Otherwise, the next person I'll kill will be you." Yang and I roared. "Take her away," Bai Ye said in a deep voice. "You're really amazing. You helped us find the murderer in a few hours. If you were a day late, she would have flushed all the soil out of the toilet. Then, there would be no evidence. She's really a cunning murderer." The policeman laughed exaggeratedly. Bai Ye politely nodded, but her mood wasn't good. Could it be that love is to destroy others and oneself? Then, in this world, who still wants to be loved? The policeman left. The others were immersed in their own thoughts. No one spoke. Bai Ye was the first to recover. She said to Qing Jinrong, "My condolences. Since things have come to this, do what you should do next. I'll go first. It's so late. You haven't eaten, right? Let me treat you to a meal." Qing Jinrong said with a pained expression. "No need. Take good care of Chen Wei's parents. They don't have a daughter anymore. They treat you like a son. In the future, they will be your responsibility." Bai Ye said meaningfully. Qing Jinrong nodded, "I understand." Bai Ye looked at Chen Wei's father. "If Chen Wei is still alive, she hopes that you'll be happy. Don't be too sad." Chen Wei's father looked at Bai Ye. "Can I talk to you alone?" "Okay." Bai Ye replied. Chen Wei's father walked in front while Bai Ye followed behind. He entered the room and took out a notebook from a locked drawer and handed it to Bai Ye. Bai Ye didn't know what he meant and didn't take it. "I'm grateful to you. Thank you for helping my daughter get justice," Chen Wei's father said with a choked voice. "It's what I should do." Chen Wei's father stuffed the notebook into Bai Ye's hand. "Don't tell anyone, and don't let anyone see it. You can go now." Bai Ye had a strange feeling in her heart. She felt that this notebook was related to the treasure, but that piece of land had been taken by Su Jiran. Could it be that there were other details? "I'm lucky that I deliberately lied about the address. Hee, ungrateful wolf, ungrateful wolf." Chen Wei's father smiled bitterly and wiped his tears. He was one step ahead of Bai Ye and walked out of the room. Deliberately lied about the address. Chapter 249. Qing Jinrong stood at the door and looked into the room apologetically. He didn't step in. Chen Wei's father closed the door and shut Qing Jinrong outside. Bai Ye knew what to do. The white-eyed wolf Chen Wei's father was talking about might be Qing Jinrong. If the hidden treasure was in another place, it was possible that Chen Wei's father was too careful and didn't tell the person behind the scenes. He deliberately told Qing Jinrong, on one hand, to confuse the person behind the scenes, on the other hand, he wanted to get back his beloved for his daughter. After Chen Wei and Qing Jinrong got married, he would tell Qing Jinrong the truth of the hidden treasure. Exactly where it is. Everything he did was for the sake of his daughter. Unfortunately, his daughter died in the hands of his love rival. When he was angry at Qing Jinrong, he was also angry at himself. He felt that if he hadn't tempted Qing Jinrong with the treasure, Qing Jinrong wouldn't have broken up with him. If Ching Jinrong hadn't broken up, his daughter wouldn't have died. So, in the end, Chen Wei's father gave her the notebook with the treasure information. She was not greedy for the treasure. She just wanted to find the culprit through the treasure. Once the treasure was handed over to the state and the culprit was brought to justice, she would be able to answer to Tang Xiaojiu. What about her and Gu Lingqing? Would they still have a chance to be together? After doing what she promised Ching Jinrong, it was time for her to do her own things. She put the notebook in her bag and walked out of the room with heavy steps. She nodded to Chen Wei's father. Then I'm leaving. Take care, uncle. With tears in his eyes, Chen Wei's father nodded and opened the door. When Bai Yi came out of the house, Ching Jinrong was still standing at the door. Let's go. At this time, your presence will only make Chen Wei's parents feel even worse. Wait until their grief has faded, and you can help them if you can. It can be considered as compensation. Bai Yi persuaded. Okay. Ching Jinrong smiled bitterly. It seems that I went for wool and came home shorn. I deserve it. Where are you going? Let me see you off. No need, Bai Yi said indifferently. There were some things that she could only face alone. Oh, okay. As Bai Yi walked towards the road, she took out her phone from her bag and called Su Jiran. What's wrong? Do you miss me already? Su Jiran smiled evilly. Bai Yi felt a chill run down his spine. I've finished my business. I'm going back to Sidia now, Bai Yi said straightforwardly. Are you messing with me? Su Jiran was furious. He was already on the train to Jinyuan City. The case was solved smoothly. I can't decide the time. If you think that I'm messing with you, I can't do anything about it. That's all. I'm hanging up. Bai Yi hung up the phone. He was going to check out of the hotel first. She passed the next room. This room was reserved by Gu Lingqing. Originally, they had agreed to meet here. Now, those beautiful words were like a golden millet dream. The more sober she was, the more her heart ached. Gu Lingqing, wait for me. Bai Yi looked at the door and said to the air. On her way to the train station, she called LV Xingzhou. What's the matter? LV Xingzhou was in an extremely bad mood. Bai Yi could understand. After all, he thought that there was a treasure in that piece of land. In the end, it fell into the hands of the authorities. It would be difficult for him to take it for himself. I'm sorry. I have to go back to Sidia now. It'll be a few days before I can come to Jinyuan City again. Ching Jinrong has already told me. Call me when you come, LV Xingzhou said coldly and hung up the phone. Bai Yi put away her phone. It was already 1848 when she got on the train. She didn't eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. She went to the train station's restaurant and ordered a 30 yuan fast food. Just as she sat down and took a bite, someone sat opposite her. Bai Yi glanced at it subconsciously, and her eyes froze. She didn't expect to see Su Jiran so early. Instantly, she lost her appetite. Su Jiran looked at her coldly and smirked. You can eat and drink. As expected, you're quite heartless. You can't feel anyone's kindness to you. Bai Yi ate a mouthful of rice and said sarcastically, even if I'm heartless, the only thing I care about was used by you, wasn't it? I don't know why a heartless woman like me is worth your nostalgia. You even went through so much trouble to set up so many traps. Su Jiran leaned against the chair lazily. I'm a person who haggles over every penny. If someone owes me a penny, I'll definitely get it back. You wasted 3 years of my feelings. No matter what, I'll waste 30 years of your feelings before I feel a little refreshed. Bai Yi looked at Su Jiran coldly and put down her chopsticks. She really couldn't eat anymore. I agreed to your request. Why did you let Gu Lingqing go? Su Jiran's lips twitched. It's a simple sentence. After all, I'm the commissioner of the protection list. My testimony is very important. Bai Yi knew that Su Jiran had a hidden identity. He was afraid that his identity was hidden very, very deeply. If I agree to your request, what if you can't release Gu Lingqing? I can let him in, and I can let him out. You have no trust in me at all. Su Jiran shrugged and said indifferently, then don't make a deal. To be honest, between killing you and killing Gu Lingqing, I'm more inclined to kill Gu Lingqing. So, Bai Yi, you didn't negotiate with me. My position on this matter. I want to see Gu Lingqing. Is that okay? Bai Yi asked. Of course. I also want you to persuade Gu Lingqing to divorce you and agree to marry Zhou Hailan. If he agrees, I'll let him go. Su Jiran put a stack of documents on the table. Bai Yi stared at him and didn't say anything. Su Jiran smiled evilly. Let's eat. After eating, read all the documents. I'll bring you to see Gu Lingqing tomorrow. Su Jiran stood up and walked towards the first-class carriage. Bai Yi took the documents. One was the divorce agreement. Her and Gu Lingqing's. The other was the marriage agreement. It was between him and Zhou Hailan. It said that if either party of Party A or Party B asked for a divorce, they would leave with nothing. Su Jiran's move was too cruel. Not only did he forcefully twist the trajectory of their lives, but he also made her hurt Gu Lingqing again. She was annoyed. There was a surge of anger rushing to her brain. She was almost unable to think. She casually knocked the fast food box on the table to the ground. She noticed that she was wrong. She immediately took out the medicine from her bag. Her hands trembled as she poured out a pill. She ate it and leaned against the chair to rest for a minute. When she opened her eyes, they were clear. Forget it. She was a psycho. The medicine couldn't control her for a few years. She couldn't give birth to a child for Gu Lingqing. She was an unlucky person. One day, she would become a burden to Gu Lingqing like her mother. Her death was not to be regretted. As long as Gu Lingqing could be happy, her sacrifice was worth it. Bai Yi's mouth raised into a smile. Chapter 250. In the wee hours of the morning, Bai Yi followed Su Jiran to his apartment. He took the medicine from the fridge, sat on the chair in front of the dining table, and coldly gestured for Bai Yi to sit next to him. Bai Yi glanced at the blue medicine and the advanced syringe in his hand. She sat next to Su Jiran, lifted her shirt, and revealed her white arm. Su Jiran twitched the corner of his mouth. Aren't you afraid of dying? I've told you before, when the disease breaks out, not only will the whole body hurt like it's being torn apart, but you will also bleed to death. Bai Yi looked at Su Jiran calmly. Life was as light as a feather, and death was as heavy as Mount Tai. Rather than struggling at death's door, it was worth it to exchange her life for Gu Lingqing's. Didn't you ask for the injection? Bai Yi asked coldly. Ha! Su Jiran chuckled. Yes, he was the one who asked for the injection. Was he begging her for mercy now? Begging for mercy would stop the injection. No. Su Jiran's eyes were sharp, and he injected the virus into Bai Yi's arm. Bai Yi felt a chill penetrating her heart. Cold sweat broke out on her forehead, and she felt a little dizzy. In her ears, she heard the sound of her own breathing. She seemed to be in the dark. She couldn't see anything clearly, and she couldn't hear anything. However, because there was a belief in her heart, even if she was lonely, she didn't have any regrets. Gradually, her vision became clear, and she could hear the ticking of the clock. She looked at Su Jiran. This kind of medicine needs to be injected once a month. When the body starts to feel tearing pain, and the nose, eyes, and ears start to bleed, that's the limit, Su Jiran explained. If I keep injecting it, how many years can I live? Baiya asked calmly. A crack appeared in Su Jiran's eyes. The thought of her dying made his heart wrench. He looked calm on the outside, but his eyes were slowly turning red. You can live for as long as I want you to. Her expression didn't change at all. How long she lived wasn't something to be happy about. Take me to see Gu Lingqing now. I'll let him sign the agreement. You can let him out tomorrow. It's already so late. Are you sure? Su Jiran asked doubtfully. She could empathize with Gu Lingqing's feelings. He was locked up and accused of being a spy, yet he was still concerned about her safety. How anxious must he be? With each passing day, the torment in his heart increased by a fraction, and the pressure on him increased by the day. The sooner he was rescued, the better. I'm sure. Aren't you also afraid that a long delay will bring trouble? Baiya said sarcastically. Gu Lingqing is dead this time. How can I be afraid of a long delay? But it's good to sign the agreement as soon as possible. Su Jiran stood up and adjusted his clothes. He signed it today. Are you sure he can be released tomorrow? Baiya wanted to confirm again. He should be able to. Su Jiran smiled and walked out. Baiya followed him. In the car, she was put on a blindfold. Why do you have to put on a blindfold? Baiya didn't understand. Gu Lingqing's identity is special. The organization is worried that someone will rescue him, which will lead to a bad result. The place where he's locked up is very secret. Even his parents can't see him, Su Jiran explained. Baiya's eyebrows were tightly knitted. If that was the case, how lonely would Gu Lingqing be? He would have to face interrogation every day. Interrogation. Even if he was innocent, he would feel sad. After all, he was suspected by the country he was guarding. Baiya was sad. She lowered her head and closed her eyes. Her tears wetted the blindfold. She didn't say anything. She held back all her emotions. After an hour, Baiya was taken out of the car. She was pulled along. She couldn't see the road clearly with the blindfold on. She tripped on the steps in front of her. Her knees hit the steps and she groaned. Su Jiran's eyes narrowed. He slapped his subordinate's face and said fiercely, "You didn't even remind me of the steps. You're asking for it." "I'm sorry, Commander. I didn't notice." The subordinate covered his face and said in fear. Su Jiran pulled Baiya up and took off her blindfold. Baiya was a little surprised. Why did people call Su Jiran Commander? Thinking about it, there was nothing to be surprised about. He already had a hidden identity. She saw more than 10 armed guards in front of her. They surrounded the door. The structure of the house was also strange. It was an arch bridge without windows. Su Jiran flung Baiya's hand away and said coldly, "Follow me." Baiya followed behind him. They went in. After passing through a 100-meter-long sealed corridor, they went down the stairs. Su Jiran turned around and held Baiya's arm. Baiya instinctively flung Su Jiran's hand away. Su Jiran gritted his teeth. His eyes were sharp. He looked very displeased. He walked forward quickly. Baiya quickly followed him. It took them 2 minutes to go down the stairs. The floor was very big. There were 2 guards in front of each door. Su Jiran stopped in front of one of the rooms. He looked at Baiya. "He's inside." Baiya clenched her fists and walked to the door. Su Jiran looked down at her pale face. "Do you need me to go in with you?" "No, thank you," Baiya said coldly. Su Jiran sneered. He knocked on the door and turned around. The soldier pushed the door open. Baya felt a gust of cold air on her face. Her heart was also half cold. Gu Lingqing was in such a bad environment. The light inside was very dim. It was like candlelight. She vaguely saw Gu Lingqing lying on the wooden bed behind the iron bars. He did not even have a quilt. No matter how many times you ask, the answer will be the same. The firearms that were dug out from under that piece of land are not mine. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. He did not even open his eyes. His arm was placed on his forehead, and he did not move. Baya walked to the iron bars. She held the bars with both hands. Her eyes were sore and swollen. She used all her strength not to cry. She called softly, Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing heard Baya's voice. He looked outside the iron bars in surprise. He strode to the iron bars and held Baya's hand. He asked worriedly, "Why are you here? Did you go to see Su Jiran? Or did Su Jiran look for you? Did you agree to his conditions?" "I asked Su Jiran to see you. There are some things I want to figure out." "Lingqing, what's going on with the firearms under that piece of land?" Baya asked. "I think Su Jiran knew that I requisitioned that piece of land in advance. He buried the firearms there to frame me. Is there any evidence to prove your innocence?" Baya's eyes flickered. Gu Lingqing was silent. After 15 seconds, he said, "I'm innocent. I have a clear conscience." Baya understood. In this world, right and wrong, true and false, it was not up to the innocent to prove their innocence. It was up to others to judge. If others thought you were innocent, you would be released even if you did something bad. If others thought you were guilty, you would be sentenced even if you had a clear conscience. Chapter 251. Baya's lips curled into a sinister smile. The way he looked at Gu Lingqing was as cold as December. "You're saying that you're dead, right?" Gu Lingqing looked at Baya's expression in surprise. It was too strange and horrifying. It made one's hair stand on end. He didn't understand and shouted, "Baya!" Baya sneered and raised his chin. "It's really not easy to ruin your reputation and die a horrible death." Gu Lingqing's heart sank. He sized up Baya. "What do you mean by that?" The feeling Baya gave him now was as if he had become another person. It was very unfamiliar. This person seemed to have come from hell. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing coldly. There was no warmth in his eyes. "Gu Lingqing, the explosion 3 years ago didn't kill you. 3 years later, you still died in my hands. You arranged the explosion 3 years ago." Gu Lingqing felt that it was unbelievable. He didn't believe it at all. "Ha!" Baya laughed at himself. "How could I have that kind of ability? I only told them that you're a soldier pretending to be an arms dealer. Do you think they'll let you live? Unfortunately, you're really lucky. You didn't die. Every day I was abroad, I was thinking about how to kill you. You have too much power. Your father has too much power. It's hard to kill you. I could only come to your side. Do you know how disgusting I was to have sex with you?" Baya said angrily. He widened his eyes and clenched his fists. The veins on his neck were popping. "You hate me." This knowledge shocked Gu Lingqing. "Why?" "Of course I hate you. You raped me on the eve of my wedding. My marriage was ruined because of you. My mother was also sent to the mental hospital because of you. My husband, the man I love, tortured me in every way possible during the 3 years of marriage because of you. Every pain I suffered was caused by you. Did you see that?" Baya raised his hand. His little finger was missing. It was round and extremely ugly. This is also because of you. How much I hate you and your parents. When I left here 3 years ago, I wanted to destroy the Gu family's reputation and make you die a horrible death. You're lying, right? If you hate me, why did you marry me? Why did you give birth to my child? Gu Lingqing didn't believe it. Wasn't that little finger the symbol of their love? You're the one who forced me to marry you. You're so powerful, do you think I have the ability to struggle? I had already struggled and asked Su Jiran to destroy the marriage certificate, but you still registered me on the marriage certificate. Do you know how angry I was at that moment? If you didn't force me like this, I wouldn't have thought of such a good idea and finally set you up. As for the child. Bai Ye's eyes reddened as guilt flashed through her eyes. She couldn't feel guilty. With how smart Gu Lingqing was, he would be able to tell even the slightest difference between her and him. Bai Ye clenched his fists tightly. That child called Xiao Tian is a chess piece I set up. He's not your child at all. He's an orphan who underwent plastic surgery to look like you and me at the same time. Gu Lingqing furrowed his brows and scrutinized Bai Ye. He gripped the metal bars, wanting to get closer to Bai Ye and see the traces of lies on her face. But she didn't. What she said seemed to be true. He didn't want to go into details. If it's really as you said, why didn't you go with Su Jiran when he looked for you? That's because he's still bothered by the fact that I was tainted by you. He promised me that as long as we work together to bring you down, I can go to his side, Bai Ye shouted. Cracks finally appeared in Gu Lingqing's eyes. Her eyes flickered and she couldn't stay calm anymore. So, Xiao Tian is fake, the treasure is fake, and your love for me is even more fake. How can I love an enemy? Of course, the treasure is fake too. How could an unknown businessman know about the information about the treasure? I'm just setting you up. What about your jealousy towards Shou Hailon? Is it also a pretense? Gu Lingqing questioned. If I didn't pretend, how would you believe that I love you? Hee hee, hee hee hee. Bai Ye laughed wildly. She laughed so hard that her tears were almost coming out. Gu Lingqing, you're so stupid. You're as stupid as a pig. You deserve to be disgraced and die without a burial ground for messing with a woman like me. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Bai Ye laughed crazily. She turned around and turned her back to Gu Lingqing. Her tears kept flowing. Gu Lingqing was indeed disgraced because he provoked her. She couldn't let this happen. She knew that when she stabbed Gu Lingqing's heart with a sharp knife, she also cut off all the love between her and Gu Lingqing. From now on, Gu Lingqing would only have hatred for her and no love. This was also good. When she died 3 months later, he wouldn't feel sad. On the contrary, he would feel refreshed. She had done everything she could. Looking at Bai Ye's back, Gu Lingqing clenched his fists tightly. His eyes became colder and colder than before, like a block of ice. Underneath the calm exterior, there was a torn heart and severe pain. He was really stupid. He actually gave his heart to her completely without any defense. If he had wanted to do a DNA test with Xiao Tian, he wouldn't have been put on the list in the military. If he could verify the authenticity of that piece of land, he wouldn't have been set up so easily. For the first time in his life, he trusted someone, but he was hurt badly by this person. It was so painful. He deserved it. You came here to tell me the truth, didn't you? Gu Lingqing said coldly. His chest was moving up and down violently. His body was already filled with turbulent waves. Bai Ye wiped her tears, brewed her emotions, and became cold. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. She took out the agreement and a pen from her bag and handed them to Gu Lingqing. Sign it, the divorce agreement. Gu Lingqing slapped away Bai Ye's hand angrily. The force was so strong that a handprint immediately appeared on Bai Ye's arm. Get lost, Gu Lingqing said sternly. If you don't want your parents to be implicated by you, you'd better sign it. Otherwise, I'll let your parents go to hell with you, Bai Ye threatened. Do you hate me that much? You've hurt me before and you've completely forgotten about it. Of course I hate you. You've raped me more than once or twice. Because of you, I lost my mother, my husband, and my job. Even if I escaped to another city, you still followed me. You're the one who forced me to live. Bai Ye accused sharply. If I sign it, will you let my parents go? Gu Lingqing gritted his teeth and asked. Chapter 252. I will die soon. You can still go to his side and live a happy life. Gu Lingqing said coldly, staring at Bai Ye. She still didn't look at him. Without this divorce agreement, when you die, I can only be your wife, Gu Lingqing. I don't want to carry this title. Indeed. If I keep a person who hates me to the bone, I will be a fool. Gu Lingqing took the agreement and the pen from Bai Ye's hand. Bai Ye saw him sign the 3 words Gu Lingqing on the agreement. His handwriting was still beautiful, upright, and smooth. Bai Ye turned her face away. The mist had already filled the air. Once, she tried her best to get married. Today, this love was destroyed by her own hands. Gu Lingqing threw the pen and the agreement on the ground and said coldly, "You can get out now. There is another agreement. Please sign it." Bai Ye handed the marriage agreement between him and Zhou Hailan to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing took the agreement from Bai Ye. Looking at the words on it, his eyes were burning. He looked at Bai Ye very uncalmly. What does this mean? I am afraid that you will harass me in the future, so I left a guarantee. Gu Lingqing was so angry that he threw the agreement on Bai Ye's face. I am going to die here. Didn't you arrange it? Do you think it is necessary for me to sign the marriage agreement with Zhou Hailan? Bai Ye said expressionlessly. I don't want to take it lightly until the last moment. Your family is too powerful. What if you are accidentally rescued? Even if I'm rescued, I can marry whoever I want. It has nothing to do with you, as long as it's not you. You can leave now, I don't want to see you again. Gu Lingqing turned around. I advise you to sign the contract. Your child with Zhou Hailan is still in my hands. I can kill you at any time, Bai Ye said cruelly. Gu Lingqing threw himself at the iron bars. The iron bars were hit, creating a loud noise. Bai Ye, do you really want me to see your cruelty and bloodthirst? You are going to die anyway. No matter how much I expose myself in front of you, it doesn't matter. After signing the agreement, you will be able to leave in peace, Bai Ye said coldly. Gu Lingqing glared at her. She knew that if she continued to avoid his gaze, it would only make her look guilty. She lifted her head and looked straight at him. The two of them stared at each other for a minute. Give me the agreement, Gu Lingqing ordered. Bai Ye picked up the agreement and pen on the ground and handed them to Gu Lingqing. You better not let me out, otherwise, I will make your life worse than death, Gu Lingqing said maliciously. Bai Ye stared at Gu Lingqing. She didn't plan to live for long. After helping Tang Xiaozhou find the murderer of the village, she would go abroad, find a place where no one knew her and found her, and die quietly. She couldn't bear the cruelty of this world, and she didn't want to. If you want to deal with me, you better stand at the top, otherwise, you will die again, Bai Ye said coldly. Gu Lingqing threw the agreement on the ground, turned around, and faced her back. Bai Ye picked up the 2 agreements and put them in her bag. She looked back at Gu Lingqing for the last time, and the corners of her mouth turned up slightly. Tears rolled down her face. Gu Lingqing, I hope that we will never meet again in this life. She turned around and walked out of the room. Su Jiran came out of the surveillance room and stood in front of Bai Ye. Well done, I almost believed you. Bai Ye passed the agreement to Su Jiran. Remember, let him out tomorrow. Do you think I will let him out after I get what I want? Su Jiran said evilly, insolent and reckless. Bai Ye had already expected this result. Su Jiran would go back on his words. Even if she took the risk of being cheated, she still came. If she didn't come, Gu Lingqing would definitely die. If she came, Gu Lingqing would still have a chance to live. As long as Gu Lingqing doesn't die, I will stay by your side and tell you the secret of the treasure. If Gu Lingqing dies, I will die with him and bring the secret of the treasure to hell, Bai Ye said indifferently as she looked at the air. That piece of land is where the treasure is hidden. So Gu Lingqing requisitioned that piece of land. Su Jiran heard this from the surveillance room. Where did you get the treasure? Let him go, and you will know. Bai Ye walked past him and went upstairs. When she went upstairs, Su Jiran's men put a blindfold on her. Bai Ye stood still. Su Jiran held her arm and walked forward. His men opened the car door, and Bai Ye got in. Stay at my place tonight? Su Jiran asked. Bai Ye twitched the corner of her mouth. Aren't you worried that I will kill you? If you kill me, no one will help you save Gu Lingqing. Before Gu Lingqing is saved, you won't kill me, Su Jiran said with certainty. She was not stupid. If she went to Su Jiran's place, it was obvious what he would ask her to do. She did not want to give herself to him. Before you save Gu Lingqing, I will not contact you again. Let me out of the car, Bai Ye said coldly. Su Jiran took off Bai Ye's blindfold, leaned forward, and put one hand on the side of her head. I can do whatever I want to you now. You can't resist at all, can you? Is there a difference between a woman's body to you? You want my heart, don't you? Bai Ye looked at him coldly. Su Jiran held her chin and moved his handsome face closer. Will you give me your heart? I gave it to you before. Bai Ye did not deny it. Su Jiran paused. He looked into Bai Ye's eyes, and a complicated look flashed through his eyes. But you're giving it to Gu Lingqing now. Do you think it's possible for me and Gu Lingqing to be together? Bai Ye retorted with hatred. Su Jiran's eyes flickered, and he let go of her. That's right. You can only live if you follow me. Your body can only be mine. I'm not afraid of a long time. I have plenty of time to wait. Accompanying you for a lifetime is also the longest confession. The way we love each other is different. Your love is to dominate, like a child playing with a toy. My love is to fulfill. So, we are destined to be different kinds of people, Bai Ye said in a low voice. I'll leave after I fulfill your wish. You will never see me again, and you will never be able to stay by my side. Su Jiran was a little emotional. Forget it. There are always strong people in this world, including women. Get out of the car. Don't do anything that you will regret. I can let Gu Lingqing go, and I can also capture Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran gestured for the driver to stop the car. Bai Ye opened the door and got out of the car. She looked at the boundless night sky. It was so dark that she could not see where she was going. She seemed to have nowhere to go, so she found a hotel nearby to stay. Chapter 253. That night, Bai Ye didn't sleep again. Her heart was aching. She had been studying the diary that Qin Wei's father gave her. There were a lot of details recorded in the diary, but it didn't say in detail where the treasure was. She felt that Qin Wei's father had found the location of the treasure, but he didn't want to say it. After all, it was her painstaking effort, and she didn't want to waste it. So, Chen Wei's father gave her the diary, but he didn't mention the name. He just wanted to let it go. Baiya studied until 9 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it was because she didn't sleep well for the past few days, or maybe it was because she was injected with the virus, but her heart was aching. She put the diary in her bag, walked to the window, and looked outside. It was sunny and windy outside. It looked like a bright and beautiful day. She didn't know if Gu Lingqing could be released under such good weather. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran and answered it. "If I let Gu Lingqing out, will you stay by my side with all your heart?" Su Jiran wanted to confirm this one last time. "Of course, I have nowhere to go. In order to make my lie believable, I have to stay by your side," Baiya said coldly. "He will be released in the morning. Baiya, don't do anything that you will regret. Otherwise, I won't let you go next time." Su Jiran warned sternly and hung up the phone. Did she get Su Jiran's promise? Baiya's heart, which had been tangled for the whole night, could finally calm down. She put the phone on the bedside table and lay down on the bed. She closed her eyes. She was so sleepy that she fell asleep after a while. She was woken up by the ringing of her phone. Baiya looked at the time. It was 15 o'clock in the afternoon. She looked at the caller ID, and it was still Su Jiran. She answered the phone with a headache. "What's wrong? Where is he?" "Gu Lingqing has been released," Su Jiran said coldly. "Oh, his matters have nothing to do with me in the future. You don't need to tell me. I still need to sleep. I'll contact you when I wake up. Where are we going to sleep? Do you want me to accompany you?" Su Jiran said evilly. Baiya could tell that he was teasing her. "I'm not joking with you. Let's talk again at 17 o'clock. I'll treat you to dinner." After Baiya finished speaking, he didn't give Su Jiran any chance to speak and hung up the phone. He continued to lie on the bed in a daze for a while, but he couldn't sleep anymore. She wanted to find the murderer of the village as soon as possible. She got up and walked into the bathroom to take a shower. After changing into a dry striped shirt, she casually wiped her wet hair with a towel and walked out. There was a knock on the door. "Who?" Baiya asked. "I'm cleaning the guest room." The waiter's voice came through. "Wait." Baiya opened the door. The waiter looked to the side. Su Jiran walked over with a bouquet of roses and handed it to Baiya. A devilish smile appeared on his face. "You know, even if you hide at the ends of the earth, I can still find you. What about hiding in hell? Do you dare to go with me?" Baiya asked back. Her eyes were cold, as if they were laced with poison. It was extremely cold. "If you go to hell, I'll follow you there. If you go to heaven, I'll kill a god. Are you satisfied with this answer?" Su Jiran asked. He walked past Baiya and went to her room. He casually threw the flowers on the coffee table and leaned against the sofa lazily. He looked at Baiya coldly and ordered. Baiya didn't close the door. She sat opposite Su Jiran. "About the treasure, tell me about it. Don't try to lie to me," Su Jiran warned. 3 years ago, Gu Lingqing and I went to Tangxian village and found Tang Xiaojiu, the person who killed Governor Qing. He told me a secret. Back then, 5 people massacred his entire village just for a treasure and a treasure map. That piece of land is the place where the treasure is hidden. Su Jiran didn't believe it. "I guess so. I know a person who massacred the entire village. He owns a construction company and wants to buy that piece of land. So I told Gu Lingqing to buy that piece of land. As for whether that piece of land is the place where the treasure is hidden, I'm not completely sure," Baiya said. "Half." She hid half of it and wouldn't tell Su Jiran everything. The person you're talking about is in Luliang City. Su Jiran was doubtful. Yes. Bai Ye didn't deny it. No wonder Gu Lingqing is investigating Luliang City. I know. Su Jiran stood up. I'll bring you to buy some clothes and find a beauty salon to do your face. You're almost 30, so you should take good care of yourself. Bai Ye looked down. She was only 27 years old this year. She was not even 30 yet. Did it count as an untimely death? Okay, I also have something to discuss with you. Bai Ye was easy to talk to. Su Jiran put his arm around Bai Ye's waist and pulled her to his side. He looked at her with a burning gaze. What do you want to discuss with me? I have a project that I want to continue. In about 3 months, I've accepted a month's worth of money from others. Bai Ye said softly. Because she needed his help, she didn't struggle to push him away for the first time. Su Jiran didn't say anything. He gently moved the hair in front of Bai Ye's forehead to one side. He lowered his head and kissed Bai Ye's forehead. Isn't this good? We can talk and get along with each other calmly. Life will pass very quickly. So, do you agree or not? Bai Ye stared at him and asked. Bai Ye, I really don't want you to have any crooked ideas anymore. Su Jiran rejected her tactfully. I'm not having crooked ideas. It's just that I've already promised someone and accepted their money. Isn't going back on your word something you always do? You can just return the money. If it's not enough, you can ask me for more. Su Jiran laughed as if he had seen through her. Bai Ye was helpless. Give me 3 months. I'll work on this project. When I come back after 3 months, I can live as a married couple. Su Jiran's eyes flashed with ecstasy. His heart was beating wildly. The temptation of living as a married couple with him was too great for him. Are you serious? Su Jiran couldn't believe it. I don't need to lie to you. If I go back on my word after 3 months, you can just use force. I won't be able to escape from your palm, right? Bai Ye negotiated rationally. She would die after 3 months. She wasn't afraid of Su Jiran using force at all. Su Jiran looked at Bai Ye's determined gaze. He asked suspiciously, have you really thought it through? You'll be with me in the future. It's not that I've thought it through. I'm just helpless and powerless. Su Jiran's gaze turned cold. At least you know what's good for you. Let's go. Chapter 254. Bai Ye shuddered and turned around instinctively. Su Jiran grabbed her arm and didn't let her go. Bai Ye suddenly felt the pressure on her body. She didn't want to face Gu Lingqing, nor did she want to face Gu Lingqing's family. She could imagine what they would say about her. She was afraid that she would act up on the spot. She cared about her reputation, very, very much. She looked at Su Jiran with pleading eyes and shook her head. Her body was trembling. Let me go. Not only did Su Jiran not let her go, he even hugged her shoulders and went into the den together. She had nowhere to retreat. Her face was pale and she clenched her fists tightly. Bai Ye, please don't act up. She didn't want to be treated as a lunatic, especially in public. She was so scared. It was as if she was the only one in this world, facing the raging waves and no one would save her. The longer she stayed there, the more panic she felt. She couldn't bear the strong psychological pressure and would rather run away. She tried to retreat, but Su Jiran was too strong. She couldn't break free at all and was forcefully pushed to the front. She lowered her eyes and didn't dare to look at anyone. Gu Lingqing, the innocent will know. I believe you can definitely come out, Su Jiran said. Gu Lingqing's sharp eyes glanced at Baiye. Baiye lowered her eyes. She couldn't hear, couldn't see, and didn't want to feel. Just like that, she slowly emptied her mind. Our Lingqing is definitely innocent. It's just that some people are greedy for wealth and profit. Did they make a mistake? This result is good, very good, Song Shiyu said. Baiye, what's wrong with you? You are with me, Su Jiran again. Su Shaoling said in surprise, looking at the hatred in Gu Lingqing's eyes. She could not see it clearly. Xiong Daini also noticed that Su Jiran was holding Baiye's shoulder. She was no longer calm. She pointed at Baiye's nose and scolded, "What's going on? This pair of broken shoes, one moment she's with this man, the next moment she's with that man, the next moment, she's so cheap that everyone already knows. If you want her to be your wife, just pretend that I didn't, you son." Mom, you've misunderstood Xiaoya. She has always loved me. Su Jiran smiled evilly and tightened his grip on Baiye's hand. Baiye snapped out of his daze and looked at Su Jiran. She hadn't heard a single word of what they had said just now. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be that she was already like her mother, unable to sense what was happening outside? She had to leave. She could not stay here. I still have something to do. I want to leave first. Xiaoya, don't be afraid. You are my woman. I will protect you. These people will always see you. Running away is not a solution. Su Jiran smiled. But she felt that her smile was like a knife. Jiran, are you crazy? You still want this kind of woman? Xiong Daini was very agitated. Mom, Xiaoya really loves me. I am very sure now that I promised her to stay by my side. I don't want to go back on my words. Don't target Xiaoya in the future. You are embarrassing me by targeting her, Su Jiran said directly to Xiong Daini. Xiong Daini was speechless, but she was still very angry. She picked up the red wine on the table and splashed it on Baiye's face. B*TCH, how dare you come here? Mom. If you embarrass her, you are embarrassing me. Su Jiran went to get a napkin to wipe Baiye's face. Baiye saw their disdainful gazes. She did not dare to look at Gu Lingqing. If she acted up here, they would definitely despise and disgust her even more. They might even lock her up in a mental hospital. Sorry, I have to go, Baiye said in a trembling voice. She turned and ran forward quickly. She was afraid that Su Jiran would catch up to her and she would embarrass herself. She kept on running, from day to night, from night to day, from day to night, from night to day, from day to night, and from night to day again. Beep, beep, beep. The loudspeaker beeped very loudly. Baiye came to her senses and looked at the huge truck that was coming towards her. She stood there without moving. The truck stopped 10 centimeters away from her. The driver scolded, "Are you crazy? Do you want to die? Can't you hear how many times I honked the horn? If you don't want to live, go jump into the river. Why are you trying to harm me?" I'm sorry, Baiye said softly. The truck driver jumped down from the truck and looked at Baiye from head to toe. His eyes flashed with a devious light. Where are you going? Why are you here alone? Baiye could tell that he was up to no good. I'm here to visit my relatives. I have an appointment with them. It's just up ahead. Your relatives aren't coming to pick you up. It's dangerous for a girl like you to be outside. Where is your relative's house? Let me send you there, the truck driver said as he came over to hold Baiye's hand. Baiye pushed the driver's hand away defensively. Don't touch me. I don't need you to send me. I've already called my relatives. They'll come and pick me up immediately. The truck driver saw that there was no one around and forcefully carried Baya. Baya grabbed the side of the truck and did not let the driver bring her up. Help! 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 Baya shouted. A car stopped in front of Baya. Don't bother. This is a matter between us. No one is to interfere, the truck driver shouted fiercely at the driver. I'm not his wife. He kidnapped me halfway. Ask him if he knows my name, Baya said anxiously. The driver got out of the car and said to the truck driver, I'm a police officer. Are you two husband and wife? What's your relationship? Come with me to the police station. When the truck driver saw that the police were here, he quickly pushed Baya away, climbed into the car and ran away. Baya was pushed to the ground. The driver wanted to take a picture of the truck driver's license plate. However, it was all gray and he couldn't see anything. Are you okay? The driver asked. Baya shook her head. I'm fine. Thank you for saving me. Baya wanted to take out her name card. She realized that she didn't even have her bag anymore. Her phone, identification, and wallet were all in the bag. However, she couldn't remember how the bag disappeared. Her condition seemed to be getting worse. She was really afraid that she wouldn't be able to hold on for 3 months. She didn't want to be like her mother. She ate, drank, and defecated on the bed. People even peeped at her through the glass window. She didn't want to live anymore. Tang Xiaojiu, the massacre case, the treasure map. She didn't have the ability to deal with them. She couldn't even deal with her own matters. She was like a lone star. Whoever got close to her would be unlucky. Pretty lady, can you hear me? The driver shouted. Chapter 255. The driver noticed the change in Baya's expression. You don't have to thank me. It's nothing. Where is your family? Do you remember their phone number? Let me make a call for you. Family. Baya repeated the word. Her parents were still alive, but she could not contact them. Her husband, or rather, her ex-husband, could not be contacted either. She seemed to have no family. Thank you for your kindness, but I can handle it myself. Thank you very much, Baya said with a smile. Where are you going? Let me send you there. The driver was worried about a woman like her in the wilderness. Is Jinyuan City far from here? Baya asked. Not far. It's about an hour's drive. I'm going back to Jinyuan City anyway. Let me send you there, the driver said. Thank you. Baya nodded. The driver opened the door. Baya got into the car and looked out of the window. It turned out that when she was crazy, she also wanted to go to Jinyuan City. Her illness was not light at all. May I know what day is it today? Baya asked softly. The driver looked at Baya with a strange expression. Sunday. That meant she had been out for 3 days. 3 days, but she could not remember what she had done. She could not afford to be agitated any further. Otherwise, she would not be able to do what she wanted to do if her illness continued for a few more days. No one would have guessed that a famous psychologist was a lunatic herself. Perhaps she was a lunatic herself. That was why she had an easier time in the field of psychology than others. The driver looked at Baya in a daze. You are penniless, and you have lost your phone. Do you really not need me to make a call for you? Baya looked at the driver. I have a friend in Jinyuan City. I don't remember his number, but I know where to find him. All right then. The car soon arrived at Jinyuan City. Where is your friend's house? Let me send you there, the driver said kindly. Inchin Village. The exact location is about 500 meters behind the shopping center, Baya recalled. As soon as you say the shopping center, I know where it is. The driver kindly sent Baya to Chin Wei's house. The door of Chin Wei's house was closed. Baya knocked on the door for a while, but no one answered. Is no one home? The driver asked, why don't I book a hotel for you? You can check in first and wait for your friend to come back. No need. Can you send me to the nearby police station? They should have my friend's number with them. Baya was actually embarrassed that he kept troubling others. Police station. Well, it seems like I have to report to the old bureau chief in advance. Baya was surprised. Are you really a police officer? I thought you said that to scare the truck driver. The driver smiled. Right now, I don't think so. My name is Chin Bin. Let's go. I'll take you to the police station. Baya went to the police station. A lot of people at the police station knew her. Expert by, why are you here? A policeman asked. I went back to City A and my bag was stolen. My mobile phone and ID are all in it. I want to get the mobile phone number of my friend, who is Chin Wei's ex-boyfriend. He should have registered his mobile phone number, Baya explained softly. Yes. Expert by, please wait. I'll go check it now. The policeman enthusiastically left. Do you still remember where your bag was stolen? Chen Bin asked with concern. Baya shook her head. I don't remember. I'll wait until I get in touch with my friend. Okay. Sorry for troubling you today. Can you give me your number? Baya smiled. The smile was very faint. It was just a courtesy. Chen Bin wrote his number on the paper and passed it to Baya. Baya took it. When the bureau chief heard that Baya had arrived, he specially came out to welcome her. When he saw Chen Bin, his eyes lit up. Deputy Secretary Chen, it's an honor to meet you. Why are you here? I took a month's leave, Chen Bin said politely. I received news that I'll retire in a month and you'll come back to take over my position. Is this true? The bureau chief asked. The transfer order hasn't come out yet. I don't know either. If there's any news, I'll inform you immediately, Chen Bin said politely. All right, I'll treat you to a meal. The bureau chief held Chen Bin's hand and looked at Baya. I didn't expect Expert Bai to come back. I hope you can come back more often. Our police station will definitely cooperate with you. Baya just nodded and didn't say anything. Expert Bai, I found it. The policeman ran over and passed the note to Baya. Thank you. Baya dialed the number on her phone. Hello. Ching Jinrong's voice came from the other end of the phone. Hello, I'm Baya. I'm at the police station now. Can you come over? My bag, phone, and identification are all missing. I might have to trouble you for a few days, Baya explained. Wait for me for half an hour. I'll come over now. Ching Jinrong hung up the phone and stood up. He said to the conference room, meeting adjourned. He picked up his suit and ran out while putting it on. Baya sat in the reception room and waited. Chen Bin poured her a cup of hot tea. The bureau chief told me about your deeds just now. I even baidu you. So you're a famous psychologist. Nice to meet you. If it weren't for you, this psychologist would probably be reported to the higher-ups soon. The importance of mental and physical strength, Baya said jokingly. Chen Bin also laughed. Half an hour later. Ching Jinrong came over and said with concern, why are you in such a sorry state? But I'm very happy that you called me. Let's go. You don't have an identification card, so you might not be able to stay in the hotel. Stay at my house for now. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Since your identification card has been changed, you'll have to go to the local police station to get a new one. I'll see if I can get your information and get a temporary identification card. You can also get a bank card or something, Chen Bin said warmly. Bai Yi smiled. In this world, there were more good people than bad. Thank you. I'll treat you to a meal after I get a new bank card. Okay. I'll wait for your call, Chen Bin said with a smile. Qing Jinrong took another look at Chen Bin. In the car. You don't have a change of clothes now, right? I'll take you to the nearby shopping center to buy some, Qing Jinrong said carefully. Thank you. Qing Jinrong smiled. You've thanked me many times today. It's what I should do. This is just a small matter. Are you going to visit Governor Lu's house in Jinyuan City this time? Or are you going back to a city? Bai Yi shook her head. I want to rest for a day or two. All right. I'll take you around Jinyuan City. By the way, aren't you going to be a tutor at Governor Lu's house? I've found a house near his house. It's convenient for you to go there. Chapter 256. The night had arrived. Bai Yi stood by the window and looked at the stars outside. In her understanding, the reason why people worked hard to live was not because they wanted to enjoy themselves every day. Most of the time, it was because of a responsibility. Worried that if she died, she would not be able to fulfill her filial duties. Worried that if she died, what would happen to her child? Worried that if she died, how would her partner continue to live? As for her, she had her parents. Her father's family had nothing to do with her anymore. She had already made arrangements for her mother. At least, she could live a carefree life in the sanatorium. She had a child, but this child might have died a few years ago. Even if he did not die, she would not be able to find him. She once had a partner. Now, Gu Lingqing hated her to the core. She had someone to accompany her until she died. She also hated Su Jiran to the core. She hoped that they would never meet again in this life. Now, she had two responsibilities. One, she promised LV Xingzhou to take care of his child. She had already received the money. The second was to find the murderer of Tangqian village. As for finding the murderer of Tangqian village, she probably could not do it. Sorry, Tang Xiaozhou. Even if she could not do it, she did not want to live anymore. As for Lu Shuang, she had also thought that she would disappear and not let them know that she was dead. She had walked around the world once. There was more sadness than happiness. The pain in her heart was already unbearable. That was why her illness was getting worse. She was a hedgehog. Even if she knew that she was sick, she still tried hard not to let others know. She did not want others to look down on her. She did not want others to pity her. She did not want others to talk about her illness behind her back. She could not afford to lose face. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Bai Yi turned around and opened the door. Qing Jinrong stood at the door. Can I talk to you? I have been in a bad mood recently. Chen Wei's parents moved away. I think they will never forgive me. If they never forgive you, what will you do? Bai Yi asked softly. I don't know what to do. It's all my fault. Qing Jinrong said guiltily. There are many couples in the world who get together and then break up, and then find a new boyfriend and girlfriend. Yang Ni's character is just an example. The choice you made in Fuchin was not wrong. If you can feel guilty and blame yourself, it means that you are a responsible person who can change and improve. Let me ask you, if Chen Wei's parents don't forgive you, what would they want you to do? Bai Yi asked back. They probably moved away because they didn't want to see me. Qing Jinrong lowered his eyes gloomily. You're right. Many people feel that they're in the wrong, so they want others to forgive them. The one who died was their own daughter, so it's impossible to forgive them. Why force others to do something that's beyond their control? If you think you're wrong, you should do what they want you to do. That's what you should do, understand? Baya asked. You mean, if I don't go see them and ask for their forgiveness, I'll disappear and not let them see me? Ching Jinrong asked, confused. Firstly, although you have your reasons for this matter, it's not the deciding factor. Secondly, we shouldn't blindly think about what we want in order to obtain others' forgiveness, but we should think about what others want. Until one day, when they want to forgive you, they will contact you. So, in order for them to be able to contact you, you must live well and live healthily. Baya suggested. I understand. Listening to you, I have a feeling of enlightenment. Ching Jinrong praised. Dong dong dong. A knocking sound came from the door. Ching Jinrong looked out from the peephole and saw a man with a strong aura. He opened the door in confusion. Let Baya out. Gu Lingqing directly ordered. Ching Jinrong looked at Gu Lingqing suspiciously. Baya heard Gu Lingqing's voice and subconsciously came out of the room. You, go out first. Gu Lingqing ordered Ching Jinrong. Ching Jinrong felt that Gu Lingqing was too intimidating. He had a charisma that made people submit to him. He looked at Baya and asked for Baya's opinion. Baya didn't want to see Gu Lingqing, but Ching Jinrong wasn't his match. She would only drag Ching Jinrong down. She nodded at Ching Jinrong. Ching Jinrong went out. Baya lowered her eyes and shivered a few times. She couldn't be as crazy as the last time. What does this mean? Gu Lingqing questioned and threw the diary in front of Baya. Baya didn't understand. Why is this diary with you? Didn't you send it to me? Don't play dumb. I went to the post office to check the surveillance cameras. It was you who sent it. You threw the bag into the bin after sending it, Gu Lingqing questioned sternly. Then where is my bag now? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a burning gaze and narrowed his eyes. Baya, what the hell are you doing? How did you find me? Baya asked, skipping over Gu Lingqing's question. You turned off your phone and lost your bag because you didn't want me to find you. Then you shouldn't have appeared in Jinyuan. Jinyuan set up a trap for me. Tell me, what do you want? Gu Lingqing said sternly. She didn't know what the irrational Baya wanted to do. She had no impression of what he said. No matter what I did, you ignored it. Don't bother. If you want to hate me and deal with me, come at me, Baya said resolutely. Gu Lingqing grabbed Baya's shoulder and pushed her against the wall. He looked at her with bloodshot eyes. If I wanted to deal with you, you should have died the day I came out. Let me ask you, did you and Su Jiran come to some agreement? He asked you to divorce me and then let me go, right? Baya's eyes suddenly trembled. She was really grateful and glad that Gu Lingqing still believed in her until now. With his trust, she could die without regrets. However, she was very sick now. She didn't want to be a burden to him anymore. She didn't want him to be criticized behind his back because of her and ruin his bright future. Moreover, her life was in Su Jiran's hands. She didn't want to become his weakness and let Su Jiran hurt him as he pleased. Gu Lingqing, don't be silly. If what you said is true and you came out now, why can't I be with you? Wake up. I'm really with Su Jiran now. There's no turning back. He must have threatened you with something. What is it? Our child. Or something else? Tell me. Believe me, no matter what the problem is, I can solve it. With every sentence that Gu Lingqing said, his grip on her shoulder tightened. She believed in his ability. So, between the child and him, she still chose him. However, it wasn't something that could be solved with his ability. No one would ever cure her illness. Chapter 257. Gu Lingqing, I asked you to sign the agreement and marry Zhou Hailan because I don't want you to pester me anymore. I really have a hard time being with Su Jiran. If you still have a little bit of pity for me, please let me go. Bai Yi said in a low voice with a pleading tone. A crack appeared in Gu Lingqing's eyes, and he showed a painful expression without reservation. Seeing him in pain, her heart hurt even more, as if it had been dug out, leaving only a hole. She knew that her character was very problematic. She was silent, cold and indifferent, not sunny, not positive, with a strong sense of defense, and liked to get into a dead end. What did she do to deserve Gu Lingqing's love? She had no regrets in her life. Even if she died, she would die with the warmth he gave her. She was satisfied. From the beginning to the end, God had never been kind to her. Perhaps the greatest kindness she had done was to let go of Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing was really a good person. He was brave, responsible, and full of a sense of justice. He deserved better. Let me ask you one last question. Have you ever loved me? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. He was not calm. He tightened his jaw, stared at her with flames in his eyes, and clenched his fists tightly. No. Bai Yi said clearly. Gu Lingqing stared at her, and his flames became cold, as if the coldness of December was covering. In the sky of ice and fire. Bai Yi, I will ask you one more time. Think carefully and answer me. Otherwise, no matter whether you really saved me and made a deal with Su Jiran or not, I will never forgive you. Think carefully. Gu Lingqing was not calm, and his breathing was uneven. Bai Yi raised her chin and made a decision. She looked at his cold eyes and said coldly, I don't care whether you forgive me or not. Gu Lingqing lowered his hand and smashed the vase next to him on the ground. The vase hit the ground with a bang. Bai Yi's eyes did not even waver. Qing Jinrong heard the noise outside and opened the door worriedly. Gu Lingqing pushed Qing Jinrong away with great strength and strode out. She knew that from today on, she had lost the person she loved the most and the person who loved her the most. Tears finally rolled down her cheeks. What's wrong? Qing Jinrong asked with concern. Bai Yi looked in the direction where Gu Lingqing had disappeared. I love him. I love him very much. The corners of her mouth twitched, and she smiled bitterly as she picked up the notebook from the floor. Then, she turned around and walked into her room. Qing Jinrong stayed in the living room, confused. Women, even if they knew that they had made the right choice, they would still feel sad. That kind of sadness was overwhelming, like a flood, almost drowning her. She could only wail bitterly. She wanted to smash something to vent her anger, so she clenched her fists tightly. She knew that she was not in the right state, but she could not control herself at all. He had the urge to smash something. She tried her best to hug her head and squat on the floor, but she still could not control the anger that came from her heart and rushed straight to her brain. She did not want to be a lunatic. Who could help her? They did not need to save her life, they just needed to give her a clear mind. Ah! She screamed, looking at the heavens pleadingly. Unfortunately, the heavens did not let her go. Qing Jinrong heard Bai Yi's screams. Then, there was the sound of things being thrown and smashed in the room. He knocked on the door worriedly. Bai Yi, are you okay? Bai Yi opened the door and stood at the door, looking at Qing Jinrong coldly. Qing Jinrong looked at the mess in the room and looked at Bai Yi in surprise. All the compensation is on me. I have something to do now, lend me your phone for a while, Bai Yi said calmly. Qing Jinrong felt that the current Bai Yi was a little strange. It was indescribably weird, so he passed the phone to Baya. Baya skillfully dialed a set of numbers. Gu Lingqing picked up and said angrily, "What is it?" "Listen up, I sent you that notebook. You lost some of your memories, so I'll give it to you. When Governor Cheng was assassinated, Su Zheng suspected that you were the culprit because your father asked Governor Cheng for a piece of land. Su Zheng used this to threaten you to marry Su Shaoling. You and Baya went to Tangqian village and found Tang Xiaozhou. Before Tang Xiaozhou was assassinated, he gave the video of him assassinating Governor Cheng to Baya. You and Baya promised Tang Xiaozhou to help him find the culprit. But I think that Baya was just helping you clear your name. Finding the culprit is your business. The address of the treasure map is written on the notebook. Come and take the notebook. From now on, leave Baya's world. Maybe she can live a little longer." Gu Lingqing listened to Baya's voice and asked in surprise, "Who are you?" Baya's lips twitched. "I'm the person who protects Baya. In the future, none of you can think about hurting her." After Baya said that, he hung up. Qing Jinrong looked at Baya in surprise. "What's wrong with you? Why? Why does it feel like it's another person?" Baya continued Qing Jinrong's sentence. "You said that you're the person who protects Baya," Qing Jinrong voiced out his opinion. "I guess so. Self-protection. Is there a problem with that?" Baya asked. Qing Jinrong was actually speechless. He had seen a movie called Deadly ID before. It was about a split personality. When a person had a split personality, they couldn't remember what happened. However, a person with a split personality could remember everything clearly. "I'm going to wash my face," Baya said. She returned the phone to Qing Jinrong and closed the door. She walked into the bathroom and washed her face. She looked at her anxiously in the mirror and tapped her fingers on the sink. "Baya, have a good rest. You won't feel pain, despair, sadness, and helplessness anymore. Leave the rest to me. I will do everything you want me to do. According to your wish, I'll leave with you 3 months later. Don't worry. No one in this world can protect you or be your support. I'll protect you and I'll never leave you." Knock, knock, knock. There was an anxious knock on the door from outside. Baya looked at the door and curled her lips. She opened the door and went out. Gu Lingqing rushed in and held Baya's shoulder. He said excitedly, "What did you mean by what you said just now?" Baya passed the notebook in her hand to him. "Do what you have to do. Also, please return my bag to me. You lost the bag. Do you want to go back now?" Chapter 258. Baya stared at Gu Lingqing and raised his chin. His gaze was cold and calm. It was as if he was talking about someone else's business. Su Jiran is the source of Baya's pain. How can it be love? Similarly, you are also the source of Baya's pain. So, there's no need to see each other again, Baya said coldly. Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes and scrutinized Baya. "Did you make a deal with Su Jiran? Aren't you very smart? Go investigate it yourself. But I suggest that you stop here. There's no benefit for you if you continue to investigate. It'll only bring you pain." Baya's lips twitched. He was exceptionally cold. Gu Lingqing stood there without saying anything. The atmosphere suddenly became cold. Qing Jinrong cleared his throat and said to Gu Lingqing, "Well, let me send you down. Don't forget to return my bag to me," Baya reminded him. Gu Lingqing glanced at her and went out. Qing Jinrong followed behind him. "Well, can I talk to you for a while?" Gu Lingqing turned around and looked at Qing Jinrong. He stayed silent and waited for him to speak. "There's a detail that I want to tell you." When you left, Baya told me that she loved you. She loved you very, very much. Then, she was in a very bad state of mind. When she entered the room, I heard the sound of her smashing things and crying. Then, it evolved into helpless whimpers. I was worried about her, so I knocked on the door. She opened the door as if she had become a different person. I suspect that she has a split personality. Qing Jinrong voiced his thoughts. Gu Lingqing recalled the medicine that Baya had been taking. She had always had a mental problem. He remembered that once, when she thought that he was with Zhou Hailan, she also smashed things. What Baya said to him today was indeed very strange. She addressed Baya, as if she was no longer Baya. Moreover, what she revealed confirmed his speculation that Baya had really made a deal with Su Jiran. Was the deal for her to go to Su Jiran's side? Gu Lingqing's Adam's apple bobbed up and down. His eyes were filled with pity for Baya. Let me ask you. Do you want to buy that piece of land because you think there are treasures under it? Gu Lingqing asked directly. Qing Jinrong paused. He had overheard the conversation between Baya and Gu Lingqing. They were talking about the treasure. He felt that the two things were related. Now that the land had been expropriated by the military, he had nothing to hide. Yes, my ex-girlfriend's father is in the field of ancient geology. He told me that there is treasure under that piece of land and asked me to buy it, Qing Jinrong explained. Then, where is your current girlfriend's father? Gu Lingqing continued to ask. Last week, my ex-girlfriend was killed. Because I was part of the reason, my uncle chose to leave. I don't know where he is now. Qing Jinrong said gloomily. Suddenly, he recalled something. Oh, can I take a look at the diary that Baya gave you? Gu Lingqing passed the diary to Qing Jinrong. Qing Jinrong flipped through a few pages. It is indeed my uncle's diary. Could it be that he gave it to Baya to thank her for solving the case? Do you still remember when Baya solved the case? Gu Lingqing asked as if the truth was about to be revealed. Just a few days ago. The day she came to Jinyuan City, my ex-girlfriend was killed. The next day, she solved the case. The next day, when I went to pick her up, she was in a bad mood. She insisted on going to the land. After confirming that it had been expropriated, she kept crying while looking out the window. I asked her what happened, but she refused to tell me. She only said that she was going to the police station. She even threw her phone away and changed her phone number, Qing Jinrong said. He understood now. He was taken away by the Special Discipline Inspection Team on the same day that Baya left Jinyuan City. It should be the next day, when Su Jiran threatened Baya. Baya solved the case and got the real address of the treasure. She rushed back on the same day that she solved the case. She met him in the wee hours of the morning and asked for a divorce. The next day, he was released. Baya's conversation with him at the beginning was to test if he could come out. When she was sure that he could not come out, she must be very desperate. That was why she decided to make a deal with Su Jiran. If he guessed correctly, Baya's deal was to marry him and let him marry Zhou Hailan. Gu Lingqing wanted to talk to Baya. He would not marry Zhou Hailan. Even if they signed the agreement, he would not get a marriage certificate. Qing Jinrong stood in front of Gu Lingqing and suggested, she is no longer the Baya from before. I suggest you ask her about the situation first. The more you force her, the more she will resist. I know that a very good psychologist will be coming from America for a seminar. Do you want to know more about it? Gu Lingqing stopped in his tracks. He lowered his gaze and looked at Qing Jinrong. Give me that expert's phone number first. I don't have it, but I can ask my friend for it. What's your number? I'll send it to you when I get it. Also, Baya is staying with me now. If anything happens, I can call you, Ching Jinrong said warmly. Thank you, Gu Lingqing said sincerely. Ching Jinrong smiled. I didn't cherish her in the past. That's why my girlfriend died. I think you love each other. I hope you can be together. Thank you. Gu Lingqing stayed in a hotel nearby using a virtual ID. At 10:00 in the evening, he got Su Changhe, Mike's contact information and called him. Hello, I want to ask you about dissociative identity disorder. Is it convenient for you now? Gu Lingqing asked directly. If it's a consultation, I need to make an appointment. I'm sorry, Su Changhe rejected politely. I only need to consult you over the phone. I'll pay you double the usual fee. Give me your account number. I'll transfer the fee to you for an hour. Su Changhe paused. Then you can consult me first. I'll collect the fee after the consultation. My friend has dissociative identity disorder. I want to understand the condition, cause, and treatment in detail, Gu Lingqing said. There are many reasons for dissociative identity disorder. Most people are autistic, irritable, depressed, and anxious. At the same time, they have low self-esteem and are timid. They envy others and want to be like them. Under certain circumstances or factors, their personality changes drastically and they become like another person. This kind of mental illness is different from pretending. The person doesn't remember what happened after the dissociative identity disorder, but the person with the dissociative identity disorder remembers what happened before, Su Changhe explained. Chapter 259. Junior Sister. Baiya flashed across Gu Lingqing's mind. Yes. The general meaning of her paper is that many mental illnesses originate from pain. Mental patients use various emotions and symptoms to vent this pain, such as grumpiness, smashing things, self-harm, hurting others, dementia, forgetfulness, and even split personality. If a mental patient can forget the pain of the past, although they will lose part of their memory, they will slowly recover and live a normal life. She is committed to hypnosis to let the mental patients forget the source of the pain of the past. She has cured many deep mental patients. You can try it with her. She is very famous in the industry. Su Changhe recommended. Split personality is a split personality that comes from feeling pain. Hypnosis may not work. What should I do? Gu Lingqing asked gloomily. My junior sister once treated a patient with a split personality. Through hypnosis, she found the true self hidden inside, escaping from reality and pain. She can talk to the hidden self and guide it. You can try it with her. What's her name? Gu Lingqing asked. Baiya. I'll give you her number later. Su Changhe said warmly. Gu Lingqing's heart sank to the bottom. He felt the taste of despair. What if the psychiatrist herself has split personality? What should I do? Is it more difficult to cure a psychiatrist's split personality? Gu Lingqing was worried. Well, I haven't encountered such a case yet. But my junior sister tried to hypnotize herself, but she failed. She said that because she is a psychiatrist, she can use psychological suggestions. So it's difficult to succeed. If a person with split personality is a psychiatrist, it will indeed be more difficult. I'll give you my junior sister's number later. You can consult her. She is better at this than I am. Su Changhe said modestly. Okay, I got it. Thank you. You can see how much money you need. I'll transfer it to your account. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice and looked forward. I can't help you. I don't need the consultation fee. I have a seminar in Cydia next Sunday. You can come. I'll send you the address. Su Changhe smiled. Okay, send it to me. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. He walked to the window and looked in the direction of Qing Jinrong's house, his eyes as dark as ink. She went to Su Jiran's side and took his place. It was too painful, so she chose to escape. Even if she gave up on him, he would never give up on her again. Early the next morning Gu Lingqing went to Qing Jinrong's house and knocked on the door. When Qing Jinrong opened the door and saw Gu Lingqing, he smiled and reminded, "She still hasn't woken up. I'm going to work now. I bought her breakfast and put it on the dining table. It might be cold by the time she wakes up. I'll take care of him," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Qing Jinrong patted Gu Lingqing's shoulder and left the room. Gu Lingqing sat on the sofa and searched for many things he wanted to know on Baidu. However, because the things he wanted to know were very obscure, there were very few people who knew about it. Even if someone answered him, it was just the tip of the iceberg. There were very few experts in the field of mental health. Baiyi slept until noon before she got up. After she got up, she brushed her teeth, washed her face, changed into bright clothes and came out of the room. When she saw Gu Lingqing, she was slightly stunned and smiled. "You're looking for me. I've brought your bag here. Also, I want you to know that I've lost part of my memory. You're an expert in psychology. I want you to help me get my memory back. How much do you need? Name a price." Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. "Your memory loss might be due to the damage to your neurons. To put it bluntly, it's a hardware problem, not a mental problem. You need to see a neurologist." Baiyi saw her bag on the sofa, picked it up and took out her phone. Her phone was switched off. "I've seen a neurologist. There's no problem with it. What I need is mental treatment. Please, help me," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. His deep eyes were watery. Baiyi looked at him and was silent for 3 seconds. "I've already accepted the job of treating LV Xingzhou's son. I know it's Monday to Friday. I have Saturday and Sunday. I can wait." Gu Lingqing interrupted her. Baiyi paused. "Is this entanglement?" "It's protection," Gu Lingqing corrected her. Baiyi was stunned for a moment. Her eyes were covered with a foggy veil. "Let me think about it." "All right." Gu Lingqing stood up. "I'll treat you to a meal first." "I have money for a meal." "Sorry, there's no need for a meal. I still have things to do. I won't be sending you off," Baiyi said coldly. Gu Lingqing's Adam's apple moved. He swallowed hard. "I hope you know one thing. Even if the whole world abandons you, I won't. If it's tiring, I'll wait for you forever. A month, a year, a lifetime." There was a strange look in Baiyi's eyes. She watched as Gu Lingqing turned around and walked out of the room. She lowered her eyes and placed her hand over her heart. She muttered to herself, "You feel pain, don't you? A lifetime. It's a pity that you won't live for even a year. I won't drag him down. Don't worry." Baiyi released her hand from her heart. Her eyes were moist. She switched on her phone. His phone was buzzing with incoming call notifications. She dialed Su Jiran's number without looking at any messages. "Where are you? Do you want to die?" Su Jiran roared angrily. "I'm in Jinyuan City now. I came here on foot. Do you believe me?" Baiyi said calmly. "From now on, I won't allow you to turn off your phone. I won't allow you to ignore my calls. When I want to see you, you have to come and see me. Do you hear me?" Su Jiran ordered anxiously. Baiyi smiled. She didn't care about his anger and order at all. "Su Jiran, I miss you. Can you come to Jinyuan City to see me today? Su Jiran was stunned. What did you say? You miss me? Yeah, I've been thinking a lot these days. From you appearing at my school gate, giving me flowers, helping me find a job, taking my mother out of the sanatorium, marrying me, to your betrayal, making me give up, and your protection in the past 3 years, I want to fall in love with you again, but I don't want to be with you. Baiya said calmly. Is what you said true or false? Su Jiran couldn't believe it. If you believe it, it's true. If you don't believe it, it's false. Whether it's true or false, it's up to you to feel it. I'll do what I think is right. Baiya's lips curled up slightly. Her eyes were as cold as frost. Chapter 260. Baiya went to Jinyuan City's shopping mall and bought some clothes, cosmetics, and a new bag. Expensive clothes, exquisite makeup, and a business card bag. Even if she appeared in a hotel, she would still attract the attention of countless people. She sent the hotel room number to Su Jiran and called LV Xingzhou. Governor LV, I'm Baiya. I'm sorry to have delayed it for so many days. I'll be free from this afternoon onwards. Is it convenient for me to go to your house this afternoon? Baiya asked politely. Yes, hurry up, my child. LV Xingzhou paused. My child's mother can't control him anymore. He's now trying to commit suicide at home. Okay, send me the address, I'll go over now. Baiya smiled and left with her bag. Inside the bag were medicine and a baton. Within half an hour, she appeared at LV Xingzhou's house. LV Xingzhou wasn't at home, so her housekeeper opened the door. Hello, I'm the private tutor hired by Governor LV, Baiya smiled. When LV Xingzhou's wife heard that the private tutor was here, she quickly looked towards the door. She knew that LV Xingzhou had hired a psychologist to pretend to be a private tutor. Teacher Bai, right? Come in quickly. My child is on a hunger strike, he hasn't eaten for 2 days, and the door is not open. I'm really worried that something might happen to him. LV Xingzhou's wife said worriedly. Baiya changed into the slippers given by the housekeeper and entered the room. She walked to the door and knocked. Get lost, I don't want to see anyone, I don't want to eat any food. If you keep me captive, I'll just die. LV Biao clamored. Teacher Bai, look at my child, what should I do? LV Xingzhou's wife was so anxious that her tears were about to fall. Can I trouble you to go to the kitchen and bring me the food? Baiya said to LV Xingzhou's wife. LV Xingzhou's wife looked at Baiya with hope. Baiya nodded her head, signaling her to leave. LV Xingzhou's wife had no choice but to follow the nanny into the kitchen. Baiya knocked on the door and said softly, Your mother has left. I'm the new tutor. Perhaps, I'll be the only one who will spend the rest of your life with me. Do you want to be alone in the room, or do you want a strange woman to accompany you? After Baiya finished speaking, LV Biao opened the door and looked at Baiya. There was a flash of amazement in his eyes, and it was as if there was a ferocious beast in his body. He swallowed his saliva. Baiya smiled. You're quite sensible. You are my tutor. Lu Biao stuttered. Baiya saw that his hands were trembling. His gaze was fixed on her, and the corners of his lips were slightly upturned. This was not nervousness, but the excitement of seeing prey. Even a certain part of him had a physiological reaction. He was an evil spirit that was in the process of growing up. Let me tell you, I'm not just a tutor. I'm a police officer. The police station sent me here to observe you, but I think you're quite obedient. They must have misunderstood you. Behave well, I still have to report you every day, Baiya said gently. Fear flashed in LV Biao's excited eyes. You're a police officer. Baya nodded. But, be good. I'll apply to bring you out to play if there's a chance. LV Biao's eyes dimmed. Oh, then I'll be good. Baya looked at the messy desk and casually flipped through the books on it. The books on the desk were not only for class, but there were also many erotic magazines and sci-fi novels. She looked at LV Biao from the corner of her eyes. LV Biao stared at her back, his brows furrowed and his fists clenched, restraining his impulses. Baya turned around, leaned against the desk and looked at him. LV Biao was shocked and let go of his fists. What class do you want to have first? Baya squinted at him. This child had a high IQ and was very defensive. He was a rational psychopath. Every crime he committed was upgraded, and he was very good at judging the situation. His first reaction when he saw her was excitement. He hadn't committed a crime for a long time, and the desire to commit a crime made every cell in his body clamor. When she said that she was a police officer, sent by the police station, and had to report every day, he knew that he couldn't do anything to her. That excitement disappeared without a trace. When she turned her back to him, he had an impulse again, but he controlled it rationally. She was facing him, and that impulse disappeared completely. According to a psychological study, if you put a wallet on a table and there was no one near the table, 10% of people would definitely take the wallet, 10% of people would definitely not take the wallet, and 80% of people weren't sure if they would take the wallet. Therefore, most crimes were committed by the victim who gave the criminal the opportunity to commit the crime. Women who were afraid of being raped had better not wear revealing clothes. Women who were afraid of being robbed had better not show their wealth. Women who were afraid of being killed had better not do things that would make others angry. Therefore, even though she knew that LV Biao was an extremely dangerous criminal, she couldn't leave her back to him. What's your favorite class? Baya asked. Biology, LV Biao answered without thinking. Baya flipped through a biology book and saw that it was filled with his notes. You want to be a doctor? LV Biao paused, lowered his head and replied, yes. Actually, being a forensic doctor is quite good. Ordinary people study the structure of the human body, and if they kill someone, they will pay with their life. Before they can study it thoroughly, they will be sent to prison and die in vain. Forensic doctors are different. In university, they can study anatomy. Not only can they dissect animals, but they can also dissect humans. It's very interesting, Baya said. You also think that dissecting is interesting? LV Biao asked excitedly. Of course. Think about it, study the structure of the human body, and explore the mysteries of nature. Perhaps the future is in my hands. Baya smiled and sat on the chair. His fingers rhythmically tapped on the table. Actually, what I want to analyze the most is the human brain. Why do humans have memories? Why do they think? Why do they have so many emotions? What is the structure of the brain? Can these things be connected to the universe? LV Biao got more excited as he spoke. If we understand the structure of the human brain, we might be able to create countless superhumans. This world will become completely different. Baya cooperated with LV Biao and said. Yes, yes. Why do humans act impulsively? Why do they want to mate? Why do they fall in love? Why do they stop loving each other? Why are some people smart and some stupid? If we know all these, humans will take a big step forward. You will become the savior of this world. Your existence will be recorded in all the history books. Your success is unprecedented, and no one will be able to surpass you in the future, Baya praised. Yes, yes, yes. I want to become that kind of person. LV Biao's eyes were shining. Baya smiled. Chapter 261. The grand debut of the war without gunpowder, so, Baya picked up the biology book and waved it in front of him. If you want to become that kind of person, you have to study hard. Only by getting into a university can you get in touch with higher education and learn more knowledge. What do you think? Are you using this method to motivate me to study? LV Biao's eyes dimmed. To be precise, it's to help you find the right way to fulfill your wish. Moreover, it's legal. You don't want to die before achieving your goal, right? Baya said with a smile. Then do you think studying hard will lead to that day? LV Biao was confused. You don't have confidence in yourself. In my eyes, everything is possible as long as you put in the effort. Also, I happen to know a forensic doctor. I can arrange for her to give you a private lesson. Baya put down the biology book. Really? When will it be? I can't wait to go, LV Biao said excitedly. That will depend on your performance. I will apply to let you go back to school. You guys will have a monthly exam. I want you to be in the top 10. Also, if the teacher approves of you, I will bring you there, Baya stated her conditions. You will let me go? LV Biao was surprised. Why not? What you did, in my eyes, was just your exploration of knowledge. However, your exploration method is wrong. You don't have a good teacher to guide you, so you are walking on the edge of the law. Luckily, I made it in time. Otherwise, a future great man might have gone to prison early and regrettably missed success. Baya looked at LV Biao with a burning gaze. LV Biao said. You really think so? LV Biao examined Baya's expression. Don't you think you are a genius? Baya asked back. I think so too. I can't communicate with those idiots normally. I want to do things that they don't dare to do to prove my judgment. Last time, I raped a girl, and they thought she was the prettiest girl in school. She had high standards, and after I raped her, she still asked my dad for $1 million. Lu Biao said disdainfully. You have proved to many people that you are just a motley crew. What's the point? Study hard and prove to the world that you are the master. That is the great thing, right? Baya guided. You have proven to many people that you are just a mob. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'll start studying hard right now, Lu Biao said excitedly. I believe in you, so I'll talk to your mother later and ask you to go to school tomorrow. I'll pick you up from school and tutor you at night. If you're in the top 10 of the monthly exams, I'll take you to see a real anatomy. I guarantee that it's something your childhood friends won't be able to see. Therefore, it is beyond their reach. N. Thank you. You are the teacher I acknowledge. If I succeed in the future, I will never forget your guidance. LV Biao seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. All the cells in his body were clamoring with excitement. Read your book first. I'll go out and talk to your mother for a while. Baya stood up and walked out the door. Teacher Bai, has Xiao Biao eaten? LV Xingzhou's mother asked worriedly. Baya pushed open the door and said to LV Biao, eat first. Only when you're full will you have the strength to study. The body is the capital of revolution. Okay, LV Biao replied obediently. LV Xingzhou's wife looked at Baya in astonishment. This was too amazing. A naughty, willful, and rebellious child, no one could control him. This Dr. Bai just met him for a while and he was already so obedient. Bring it in to the young master, LV Xingzhou's wife ordered the nanny. Mrs. Liu, is it convenient for us to talk alone? Baya invited. Sure, come to my room. LV Xingzhou's wife looked at Baya in a new light and was especially friendly. Baya followed LV Xingzhou's wife into the room and went straight to the point. I hope to let LV Biao go to school tomorrow. I'll pick him up every day and tutor him at night. That won't do. LV Xingzhou's wife panicked. LV Biao's personality is a bit violent. It won't be good if he hurts his classmates in school. If even his own mother doesn't believe that he will change, then what motivation does he have to gain the approval of others? Bai Ye retorted, his words sharp and cold. LV Biao's mother immediately felt ashamed. Is it really okay for him to go to school? There won't be a problem. Send him to school as usual tomorrow, Bai Ye promised. All right then. He's locked up at home and goes on a hunger strike every now and then. I can't control him anymore, LV Xingzhou's wife sighed. Bai Ye nodded and left LV Xingzhou's wife's room to go to LV Biao's room. LV Biao was memorizing English words while reading a book. Bai Ye sat opposite him and asked, think about it. What will you encounter when you go to school tomorrow? My classmates will definitely be very afraid of me. Even the teachers and headmasters won't dare to provoke me. They will even talk behind my back. Who knows, there might even be people who provoke me. LV Biao said indifferently. Then what do you think? Bai Ye asked. A bunch of idiots. I used to want to prove something to these idiots, but I don't want to anymore. I want to prove to the whole world that I am the ruler, LV Biao said suddenly. The world that is ruled is actually very lonely. Let me give you a suggestion. What you want to become is a savior. That way, everyone will worship you, look up to you, praise you, unable to surpass you and revere you. Even the places that you walk through will be worshipped by the people. That way is the most awesome, Bai Ye said with a smile. His fingers lightly tapped on the table. Yes, you're right. You're the only person who can communicate with me. You're like the beacon of light in my life, LV Biao agreed. Before achieving your wish, what we need to do now is to study. Read your book first. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me. Mn. While LV Biao was reading, Bai Ye was also reading. After all, she had forgotten a lot of content from high school. Only by consolidating and revising would she have the ability to teach others. Time passed in silence. Suddenly, Bai Ye's phone rang. When she saw that it was Su Jiran, she walked out of the room to answer the call. I'll reach Jinyuan City in half an hour. Are you coming to pick me up? Su Jiran asked. I'm currently at a student's house. I'll come over now. See you later. I'll treat you to a meal, Bai Ye said with a smile. Su Jiran paused. Her current state was completely different from what he had imagined. He had thought that she would be angry, pessimistic, and hateful towards him. See you later then. Bai Ye hung up the phone and bade farewell to LV Xingzhou's wife. She went to the pharmacy to buy some red medicine and applied a few drops on a sanitary pad. After pasting it on, she went to the train station to pick up Su Jiran. He was dressed in a light blue suit, and his hair had been specially styled. It was slightly curled and tipped up, and he had even dyed it maroon red. It looked damp and youthful, and it set off his beautiful face even more seductive. The corner of Bai Ye's mouth curled up. Her eyes were incomparably cold. Chapter 262. Su Jiran walked up to Bai Ye and looked at her delicate face. She had put on makeup, and her already beautiful facial features were dazzling under the makeup. The corners of her mouth were curled up, and she looked extremely charming. That kind of charm was not just from the makeup, but from her very bones. Su Jiran's heart felt as if it had been struck by something, causing ripples to form in his heart. I'm surprised that you came to pick me up, Su Jiran said as he looked at her. This shouldn't be the only thing that surprised you. Just get used to it. Let's go, I'll treat you to dinner. The Savant's restaurant here is the most famous, and the local food is pretty good. I've made a reservation. Baya turned around. He held her waist and pulled her to his side. Baya looked at him and met his devilish eyes. She pursed her lips and said, "Commander Su, are you very particular about formality?" "You're my woman," Su Jiran said in a deep voice, as if he was scrutinizing something. Baya shrugged, not letting him see what she was thinking, and turned her face away. "If I were a 20-year-old girl, I'd like this kind of formality. Unfortunately, I'm almost 30, and it's better not to be mushy." "As long as I like it, I can't control others," Su Jiran said domineeringly. He hugged her even tighter like a pair of iron pincers, not letting her break free. She also knew that she could not break free, so she simply leaned all her strength on him. She stood in the most comfortable position, and they walked to the waiting area for taxis. There were quite a lot of people waiting in front. Su Jiran liked the weight of her body. When she leaned on him, he felt that his life was complete. Otherwise, his soul would be floating, and he would not be able to find a place to stay. Now, he knew what he wanted. His gaze unconsciously softened. "How have you been these days?" Su Jiran asked in a low voice. "How can you not know how I've been?" Baya smiled and asked, "In my mind, you're a godlike man, omnipotent. Can I take what you said as praise and not sarcasm?" Su Jiran looked at her calm face. "It depends on how you hear it. Literally speaking, it's a compliment. However, if you've done a lot of bad things that I don't know about, it does sound very ironic." Baya raised his eyebrows and looked at Su Jiran sharply. Su Jiran pinched her chin, bent down, and kissed her lips. A strong masculine scent invaded her mouth. Baya furrowed his brows and glanced at Su Jiran. He was so engrossed in the kiss that he closed his eyes. He was even impulsive, fierce, and domineering. She knew that she could not avoid it. Struggling would only make him more excited. She clenched her fists and stood still. Her calm eyes were closed, and she was like a statue, dead silent. She did not resist. Su Jiran was also shocked. He opened his eyes and looked at her. Baya took out a silk handkerchief from her bag calmly and wiped her lips. She said lightly, "Is the lipstick tasty? I'm going to put on poisonous lipstick next time. We'll be poisoned together." He pinched her chin, lifted it up, and kissed her lips again. "I'll eat it even if it's poisonous. I'll die under a peony and become a ghost." Baya smiled. "You do have a lot of peonies." Panic flashed in Su Jiran's eyes. His heart felt as though it was being gripped by a hand. The sourness came unexpectedly. He corrected her. "No more. Since 3 years ago, you're the only peony I've had. You know that." Baya nodded thoughtfully. She saw a taxi coming from the corner of her eyes. "Let's get in the car first." Baya opened the car door and sat in the front passenger seat. She said, "Master, let's go to Savant's restaurant." The taxi driver started the car. Baya looked out of the window and did not say anything. Su Jiran looked at the side of her face with a burning gaze. He did not say anything either. Half an hour later, they arrived at Savant's restaurant. The hostess at the door led them to their reserved seats. Baya picked up the menu and ordered. The waitress quickly gave them the order and brought them buckwheat tea. Su Jiran took a sip of tea. "I couldn't find you for the past few days. I almost went crazy. I thought you were hiding alone. It's not like I don't want to live anymore. You have the power of my life in your hands now." Baya said calmly. "As long as you receive the injection every month, I can guarantee that you will live to 100 years old." Su Jiran promised. "It seems that you don't want children anymore. Or, Did a woman give birth to a child for you? Baya smiled lightly. Su Jiran paused and looked at Baya in surprise. You're willing to give birth to a child for me? Why not? You don't want children, but I do. Baya looked down and sipped her tea. Su Jiran was excited. He held Baya's hand and said seriously, the antidote is still being developed. If there are no accidents, it will be out in 3 months. At that time, let's get married. I'll go with you wherever you want to go. I'm willing to give up everything I have for you. The antidote is still being developed. You're going to inject me with the virus. A man must be ruthless. This is indeed your style, Su Jiran. You're ruthless. Su Jiran stared at her face. He couldn't tell if she was praising him or despising him. He tightened his grip on her hand. At that time, you forced me to the point that I couldn't breathe. I couldn't just watch you and Gu Lingqing fly away together. I'll be good to you. Baiyo looked at Su Jiran suspiciously and narrowed her eyes. Su Jiran, there's something I'm actually quite curious about. With your looks and power, you can have any woman you want. Why did you steal a woman from Gu Lingqing, and even me? With my figure and looks, there are a lot of women on the street. The problem is that I don't have a good personality. You've been with me for so long, so you should understand. What do you like about me? I like you so much that you want to destroy me. Because I've had too many women. I know which kind of woman is worthy of my love. During the 3 years we were married, you didn't abandon yourself because of my flirtatious ways, and you didn't give up because of my wanton hurt. Every time I was sick, drunk, sad, or in a bad mood, you stayed with me. It was always you. Su Jiran confessed. So, even if you have to inject me with the virus, you still want to keep me? Should I feel sad for the Baya from 3 years ago, or should I feel that I deserve it now? Baya smiled. Her smile was so bright that it was even more dazzling than the light from the crystal lamp. The past is the past. Let's think about the future together. In the future, Su Jiran won't have eyes for other women. I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. That's the end of the bitterness, right? I won't let anyone hurt you. Su Jiran promised. Chapter 263. I'll do the injection with you. As long as you're willing to be with me, I'm willing to do anything for you. You actually know this, Su Jiran confessed tenderly. Baya propped up her cheeks and looked at Su Jiran. Are you really willing to do anything? I'm willing to do anything, Su Jiran said without hesitation. Got it, I'm going to the washroom. She got up and walked to the washroom. After washing her hands, she looked at her enchanting self in the mirror. Her eyes were filled with confusion. In her knowledge, love was a chemical element called dopamine. When a person felt love, this chemical substance would be produced. It would make one feel sweet, radiant, and immerse in a fairy tale world. One's IQ would drop to 0. All one could see was the good points of the other party. All one would miss was the other party. If one could not see the other party, one would feel sad. However, this chemical substance would also disappear with metabolism. The longest it could stay in the body was no more than 3 months. After 3 months, what maintained the relationship between a man and a woman was not dopamine. Instead, it was one's personal cultivation, sense of responsibility, and attitude towards life. Rationality became the dominant factor. The criteria to be considered were habits and adaptations without temptation. One would be able to see the other party's good points and shortcomings from a rational point of view. Because they were looking for a partner, they would have higher requirements for the other party. It would magnify the other party's shortcomings. There would be quarrels in life. They would wear each other down until they gave up. Then, they would go on another dopamine journey. Bai Ye and Gu Lingqing loved each other more and more. What was the reason for that? The continuous production of dopamine. What was the reason for Su Jiran's love for Bai Ye? Xiao Ya. Gu Lingqing's voice was heard. Bai Ye saw Gu Lingqing in the mirror. Her eyes flickered slightly. Why are you here? Gu Lingqing asked and walked towards her. Bai Ye frowned defensively. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. I think I've made myself clear. You're the source of Bai Ye's pain. Don't see each other again. Even if you see each other, pretend that you don't know each other. She lowered her head and walked outside. Gu Lingqing stood in front of her, grabbed her wrist, turned around and pushed her against the wall. I'm the source of Bai Ye's pain. Am I yours? Bai Ye paused and looked at Gu Lingqing in confusion. What do you mean? I think you should know Bai Ye's feelings for me better than me. After all, you've always been with her and experienced everything she's been through. You know her better than anyone else. Let me ask you, does Bai Ye want us to be together in the end? Gu Lingqing asked with burning eyes. Bai Ye clenched his fists. You guys can't be together. Why can't it be? Gu Lingqing retorted. There was pain in his eyes and his brows were knitted together. Bai Ye lifted her chin. I don't think there's anything to hide. You should be able to tell that Bai Ye was in too much pain in the past. She was too helpless and heartbroken. Every day was an inner torment for her. She had too many things to worry about, too many things to bear, and too many things to bear. As a result, her condition got worse and worse. She could no longer bear it. If it continued to develop, she might end up like her mother, unable to do anything and locked up in the nursing home until she died. So, at the moment when she was about to have a mental breakdown, she hypnotized herself. I'm a product of her hypnosis. I don't know love, I don't have love, I don't know pain, I don't need to take medicine, and I won't have insomnia anymore. She'll probably never come back, and I don't love you. Gu Lingqing's heart skipped a beat and he loosened his grip. He would rather she pretended not to love him to protect him than to turn into someone else. He didn't know, what should he do? Bai Ye crawled out from under Gu Lingqing's arm. She turned around and looked at Gu Lingqing, who was in a daze. Bai Ye hopes that you and Zhou Hailan can live happily ever after. She's sincere. From now on, your career will rise and you'll be invincible. If you love her too, do what she wants you to do. Without Bai Ye, Gu Lingqing won't be happy. Does she know that? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. Bai Ye's lips twitched. You have a strong sense of responsibility. Zhou Hailan gave birth to your child, so you should marry her. The so-called dopamine doesn't last long. Love will disappear with the passage of time. Not many people can get married after a period of love. Even if they get married because of love, they might not be able to live until they die. To be able to walk till the end of your life, that is life. Don't you think that your view of life is too sad? There are many people in history who are faithful to one person until they die. Bai Ye, don't be disappointed in life, Gu Lingqing said worriedly. Bai Ye shrugged. She didn't even look at Gu Lingqing in the eye. If you were Bai Ye, after experiencing what she has gone through, you wouldn't still have hope. You wouldn't still have a little bit of kindness towards this world. Live your own life. I don't want to hurt you, but if you continue to pester me, don't blame me. I won't stand on ceremony. After she finished speaking, she left the washroom decisively. Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye's back view with a deep gaze. She was arrogant, cold, and like a lonely female warrior. He roughly knew what Bai Ye had gone through. She was born in a cold home. She saw her mother being drugged by her father and her mother getting divorced. When she was young, she lived with her mother. Her mother cut her wrists and she committed suicide. She climbed out of the bathtub and walked to the door. She looked outside and realized that there was no place she wanted to go. She returned to the bathtub and waited for death. She was saved by her neighbor. Her mother was sent to the mental hospital. She didn't have anyone to adopt her, so she went to an orphanage. She grew up and could support herself. Her mother was also rescued and she fell in love. However, she was kidnapped by her fiancé and ex-girlfriend on the eve of her wedding. She was raped. It wasn't easy for her to give birth to a child, but it was snatched away before it was even a week old. In the 3 years of marriage, all she saw was her husband's betrayal. She watched over him alone day and night. Finally, he appeared, but he caused her to lose her job. She lost her pinky. He lost his memory and forgot about her. He only remembered Zhou Hailan. To her, it was the greatest pain. She chose to commit suicide. After being saved, she went to study psychology. Just as they were about to be together, something happened. She was filled with disappointment and pessimism towards this world. All the more, he couldn't give up on her. Even if he had to gamble with his life, he had to let her see that it wasn't just despair. At the very least, he would always be by her side, no matter what happened to her. Baya returned to her seat. The waiter had already served 4 dishes. She didn't say anything. She lowered her head and ate the bamboo-wrapped pork without any expression. Su Jiran picked up a meatball for her. You really should eat more. You're too skinny. Chapter 264. A cold glint flashed past Su Jiran's eyes. Don't worry. He's your father. I won't do anything to him. Baya looked at Su Jiran and smiled charmingly. What if I let you do it? Su Jiran looked at Baya in confusion. Baya made a call in front of Su Jiran and pressed the public speaker button. Hello, who's this? Xing Bachuan's voice was heard. Dad, I'm Baya, Baya said. Don't call me Dad. I don't have a daughter like you. I thought you hooked up with Gu Lingqing. Do you know how bad your reputation is in the circle now? Xing Bachuan said sternly. No matter how bad my reputation is, I'm still your daughter. I have your blood flowing in my veins. You can't change this fact. Shut up. You have that B*TCH by Bing's blood flowing in your veins. You're as B*TCH as she is. I'll sever our relationship as father and daughter and publish it on all the major networks. Don't you threaten me with my daughter's identity. I'm not afraid of your threats, Xing Bachuan said angrily. Baya's eyes were as cold as a cliff in the cold wind, but the corner of her mouth was slightly raised. I can sever our relationship as father and daughter, but I have one condition. Cooperate with me and cure my mother. Dream on. From today onwards, whether you and your mother live or die has nothing to do with me. If you continue to pester me, don't blame me for being merciless. Xing Bachuan rejected her directly. Ha! Baya chuckled. I'd like to know how merciless you are going to be towards me. Baya, don't force me. Killing you now is easier than killing an ant, Xing Bachuan said agitatedly. The flesh on his face was trembling. Baya raised her eyebrows and looked at Su Jiran. She raised the corner of her mouth slightly and said sarcastically, killing me is easier than killing an ant. I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. You only know that I broke up with Gu Lingqing, but you don't know that I'm with Su Jiran. How can you be so cheap? Su Jiran is your brother-in-law. Xing Bachuan gritted his teeth in hatred. I don't even have a sister, how could I have a brother-in-law? Also, let me remind you that Su Jiran is my ex-husband. I know very well whether it's me or Xing Jinyan who's acting cheap. Baiye hung up the phone after she finished speaking. Su Jiran looked at Baiye with pity and consoled her softly. Xiaoye, don't be sad. You still have me. Baiye put the phone on the table and said calmly, I'm sad because I still have expectations for him, but the result is not what I want. I feel wronged and pity myself. In fact, all of Xing Baochuan's words were within my expectations, so there's nothing for me to be sad about. On the contrary, his cruelty is my sword, and I don't have to show any mercy. I will make him kneel before you and beg for your forgiveness, Su Jiran promised. Baiye smiled. Her charming eyes seemed to be covered with a veil, and no one could tell what she was thinking. Su Jiran's phone rang. Baiye lowered his head to eat. When he saw the caller ID, he frowned impatiently and hung up the phone. The other party did not give up and called again. Do you need me to pick it up for you? Baiye asked with a smile. Her eyes glanced at his phone. It's Xing Jinyan, right? Su Jiran thought for a moment and handed the phone to Baiye. Baiye looked at the caller ID. She remembered the nickname of editor Su Jiran. She had somewhat forgotten what the nickname was. Now, it was Little Nian. She picked up the call and pressed the speaker button again. Su Jiran, what's the meaning of this? Dad said that B*TCH Baiye is with you. Are you crazy? She's already been used by so many men, and she's sick all over. Gu Lingqing doesn't even want her anymore. How can you pick up a pair of used shoes? How can you face me? Xing Jinyan scolded. Are you done scolding me? Baiye asked. Xing Jinyan paused and said in shock, Baiye, you're really with Jiran. Why are you picking up Jiran's call? Where's Jiran? I want to talk to him. Go ahead, he can hear you. I pressed the speaker button, and he's sitting opposite me, Baiye said calmly. Xing Jinyan could no longer stay calm. He was about to explode. What's the meaning of this? Baiye, you know that Su Jiran is my fiancé. Are you going to be a mistress now? Su Jiran is just your fiancé. Why are you so angry? When Su Jiran was my husband, what did you do? Baiye said casually. Her eyes were full of sarcasm. So you're taking revenge on me now? Xing Jinyan roared. Ha! Baiye laughed. In my eyes, you're nothing. Taking revenge on you. Sorry, I don't have that much time to waste on an insignificant person. You're the one who's nothing. One moment, you're with Gu Lingqing, the next moment, you're with Mu Shaoxing, and the next moment, you're with Su Jiran. You're going to sleep with every man. Don't you have any shame? Xing Jinyan roared hysterically. In terms of the number of men you've slept with, whoever has slept with the most will die a horrible death. Do you dare to swear with me? Baiye said sarcastically. Of course I dare. I'm just a man. Do you dare? Xing Jinyan shouted. Then I really don't dare. I'm just a man. Soon, I'll have two. You win. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Baiye, if you dare to touch Su Jiran, I'll kill you, Xing Jinyan threatened. His eyes were bloodshot. He understood Baiye's hint. Baiye hung up the phone and returned it to Su Jiran. Su Jiran looked at her deeply and didn't take it. She seems to love you very much. If you turn back, maybe there'll be another beautiful scene. Baiye placed his phone in front of him. Xing Jinyan has attended sex parties overseas. In the 3 years that I've neglected her, she went overseas every year. Do you think I'll like her? Su Jiran sneered and drank the wine in his hand. In a sense, you're very similar to her. You're a good match. Don't you always attend those parties? In the future, when you get married, you can attend them together. There are no obstacles, no pressure, no responsibilities, no burdens, Baya said calmly and poured a little red wine for Su Jiran. But there's no love. I'm tired of living without feelings. I don't want to die without someone I love or someone who loves me. That way, it'll feel like I've lived my life in vain. When I'm with Xing Jinyan, there are no obstacles, no pressure, no responsibilities, no burdens. At the same time, there's no warmth, no rest, no stop, Su Jiran said sadly as he looked at Baya with a burning gaze. What you're looking for is a woman who loves you wholeheartedly. You'll eventually find such a woman, but it's not me. Baya also drank the wine in her hand. His heart was heavy. It shouldn't be. Chapter 265. But the one I love is you. As long as I look at you, I feel at ease. Even if you don't love me, I want to be with you until the end of the world. At least, when I die, the one I love the most will be by my side. I won't have any regrets, Su Jiran confessed. Go and do what you should have done, Baya said in a low voice. She lowered her head and continued eating without saying a word. The waiter came over to settle the bill. Baya took out her wallet from her bag. Sir, someone has already settled the bill for your table, Fu Yuhuang said with a smile. Baya looked at Su Jiran. It wasn't me, Su Jiran explained. Baya's eyes darkened. She glanced sideways at the door. If it wasn't Su Jiran, it had to be Gu Lingqing. She was already eating with Su Jiran. What did he mean by settling the bill for them? She couldn't see Gu Lingqing clearly, just like how Baya couldn't see him clearly. Who settled the bill? Su Jiran asked. Baya shook her head. I'm not sure. Forget it, let's go. She got up and walked out of the door. A gust of cold wind blew over. She wrapped her arms around herself. Su Jiran took off his shirt and wrapped it around her. His shirt had a charming smell of cologne. What she liked was the same as what Baya liked before. She liked the refreshing smell. Su Jiran walked to the side of the road to take a taxi. Baya turned around and saw Gu Lingqing. He stood by the window of the private room and looked at her with a deep gaze. When their eyes met, she turned her face away and clenched her fist slightly. Su Jiran got a taxi and opened the back door. Baya walked towards Su Jiran and got into the taxi. Su Jiran sat next to her. Baya handed him his clothes and said to the driver, "Go to Jinyuan City International Hotel." "Xiaoya, can I stay at your place tonight?" Su Jiran went straight to the point. "My relatives are here. It's not convenient today." Baya refused. Su Jiran's lips curled into a devilish smile. "It's not like I have to. I've already waited for 3 years. One more week won't make a difference." Baya lowered her head. "I'm used to sleeping alone." Su Jiran furrowed his brows and turned his face away. There was a hint of anger in his eyes, but he didn't say anything. The space was very quiet. It was so quiet that they could hear each other's breath. Su Jiran's chest heaved unsteadily. He turned around and faced Baya. Baya leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. "What if I forcefully request to stay in the same room with you?" Su Jiran asked in a deep voice as he looked at her with a burning gaze. Baya glanced at him and said calmly, "Okay." The word "okay" was out of his expectations. Su Jiran couldn't see Baya clearly anymore. "You agree?" "Yes," Baya replied softly. She tilted her head and leaned on Su Jiran's shoulder. Su Jiran's heart was beating fast. He hugged her shoulder and looked down at her. She closed her eyes. Her long eyelashes were like a fan. They were soft, and they melted his heart. Soo-jiran lowered his head and kissed her on the forehead. She didn't react at all. It was as if she had fallen asleep. Soo-jiran kissed her forehead, her eyes, her nose, and her lips. She still didn't move at all. Xiaoya. Soo-jiran's voice was a little hoarse. Let's get married soon, okay? Baiya didn't say anything. Soo-jiran noticed that Baiya was behaving strangely and panic flashed in his eyes. Xiaoya, wake up, Xiaoya. Baiya pushed his mouth and didn't open her eyes. You're very noisy. I just fell asleep. Soo-jiran heard her speak and breathed a sigh of relief. He smiled. You're really sleepy. It's still so early. Baiya didn't refute and continued to sleep. The car stopped at the International Hotel and Baiya opened her eyes. Soo-jiran handed the driver a 100 yuan note. Baiya opened the car door and got out. Keep the change. Soo-jiran carried the clothes and caught up with Baiya. He draped it over her. It's cold. Don't catch a cold. Baiya responded and went to the hotel. Soo-jiran didn't ask for another room and followed Baiya to the 21st floor. Are you sleeping outside or inside? Baiya asked. Outside, Soo-jiran replied. There was a strange look in his eyes. He had seen countless women, but because of Baiya's words, his heart was beating fast as if it was his first awakening of love. Baiya opened the door. Only then did he know that Baiya was talking about outside or inside. There was more than one bed. You booked the presidential suite. Soo-jiran couldn't hide the disappointment in his tone. The service in the presidential suite is better. The room is more complete. I'm still very sleepy. I'll take a shower first. Good night. Baiya walked into the room and locked the door. Soo-jiran wanted to say something, but she had already locked the door. He saw that she was really tired, so he didn't call her again and walked into the bathroom. Baiya saw that he didn't knock on the door. She went to the bathroom and looked at herself in the mirror. She looked at herself for a long time without saying anything. Her phone rang. She came back to her senses and saw that it was Soo-jiran's call. She answered. What's wrong? I want to hear your voice, Soo-jiran said softly. Then record my voice now. I'm going to sleep later. Don't call me anymore. I have a headache when I wake up, Baiya said indifferently. Then say something nice. I'll record it. Soo-jiran really turned on the record button. Baiya paused for a moment and asked, Why do they call you Commander? It's from the president. So, they call me Commander. The place you went last time was one of my bases. My main job is to investigate all the officials in secret and grasp all the secrets and movements of all the officials, Soo-jiran explained. You work for the president. Baiya was doubtful. Strictly speaking, yes. What if it's not the president who comes to power this time? Baiya asked. If there's no such accident, Gu Lingqing has already lost his candidacy. As long as the information I have on Su Shaoling is leaked, Su Zheng will also be disqualified. Su Zheng is your uncle, your biological uncle. Baiya was puzzled. Baiya, I'm only telling you this. I'm willing to hand my weakness to you in exchange for a chance for you to treat me sincerely. I'm not Xiong Dani's biological son. Xiong Dani's biological son is dead. I'm adopted by Xiong Dani, Soo-jiran said with a smile. Baiya frowned. So, how did you know that Xing Bachuan killed your father? Chapter 266. The human heart was separated by the belly. Even if one could see the beating heart, one still could not see a person clearly. That was why there was speculation, probing, danger, and injury. She could feel the coldness in Su Jiran's tone through the screen. She felt that everyone should bear the consequences of their mistakes. It was not that they would not take revenge, but that it was not time yet. Xing Bachuan only had himself to blame for what had happened today. I'm sleepy. Good night, Su Jiran, Baiya said softly. You haven't said anything nice yet, Su Jiran reminded her. What nice thing do you want to hear? Thank you for giving me an extraordinary life. Or thank you for loving me to the point of destruction. Ha! Baiya chuckled. That chuckle was filled with displeasure, sarcasm, and blame. She did not give Su Jiran a chance to speak. She hung up the phone, switched it off, and threw it on the bedside table. She felt dizzy and closed her eyes. She did not even turn on the lights. After some time, she suddenly woke up and looked at the bedside. Gu Lingqing was standing in front of her. Because he had drunk alcohol, his face was strangely rosy. Even the air was filled with the smell of alcohol. Why are you here? Baiya asked in a low voice. What do you think? Gu Lingqing asked in return. His dark eyes did not hide the sadness that flowed through them. His breathing was rapid as he looked at her with melancholy. It was as if she was the only antidote for him. Seeing him like that, Baiya felt a little uncomfortable. Please get out of here. I want to rest. Gu Lingqing walked towards Baiya. She was frightened and got up from the bed. He was even faster. He rushed over and pressed Baiya down on the bed. Baiya pushed his shoulder defensively. Because they were so close to each other, all she could smell was his breath. How much did he drink? She was drunk and a little dizzy. Gu Lingqing, let go of me. Su Jiran is outside. If you continue like this, I will scream, Baiya warned sternly. Gu Lingqing tightened his jaw and stared at her. Go ahead and shout, right? Baiya was stunned. She was just trying to scare him. Of course she wouldn't shout. If Su Jiran came in, it would only make the situation even more chaotic. She had been seen through by Gu Lingqing, so she was angry. She turned her head and bit Gu Lingqing's arm. He furrowed his brows, pursed his lips, and did not say a word. He stared at her without blinking, as if he wanted to see through her and take her away. He was indeed. Baiya could taste his blood, but he still did not let go. Soldiers had a will of steel. Even if he was bitten until he was bleeding, he did not make a sound. He was indeed a tough guy. She thought that there must be a reason why Baiya liked him. She could not push him away or bite him. Baiya was helpless. What do you want? Gu Lingqing lowered his head and kissed her on the lips. Baiya was shocked. Her eyes widened and she pushed him away with all her might. She could not break free at all. His kiss was as domineering as Su Jiran's. The difference was that she could treat Su Jiran's kiss calmly. She could not bear the slightest ripple in her heart. However, when faced with his kiss, she could not resist it and her breathing became chaotic. After Gu Lingqing's red tongue entered her mouth, it circled around her tongue a few times and then sucked on the tip of her tongue. There was a slight prickling pain, so she could not ignore his presence. What was more intense was the taste of alcohol in his mouth. It easily ignited her. His palm lifted up her nightdress. The temperature in his palm was as hot as the butt of a cigarette. Everywhere it touched, it made her tremble. She wanted to say that her relatives were there to stop her from further intruding. But her lips were blocked by him, so she could not make a sound at all. Gu Lingqing's palm pressed down along her smooth skin. Baiya gripped the bedsheets tightly and looked at him in shock. He closed his eyes and did not look at her. He kissed her seriously, not too fast or too slow, as if he wanted her to get used to it. Baya felt ashamed. She had been on guard, but she had miscalculated. There was no logic to speak of when it came to a drunkard. He did not look at her at all, so he did not see the sanitary pad she had pasted on her. Most importantly, he still blocked her lips to prevent her from saying anything. Goo, goo, She did not know whether it was because she was anxious or because she was struggling, but her forehead and nose were densely covered in sweat. Most importantly, there was an indescribable feeling washing away her rationality, and she was on the verge of collapsing. Gu Lingqing was too familiar with her. He remembered every detail of her behavior in his heart. He increased his speed and kissed her even more deeply. Baya felt that she was almost out of breath, so she bit his tongue. He suddenly pressed it down. She felt as if there were fireworks blooming in her mind. There was a bright and colorful light. She forgot to think, forgot the environment she was in, and opened her mouth to breathe. Gradually, it calmed down. Xiaoya, your reaction is quite good. Gu Lingqing said hoarsely in her ear, now it's my turn. He lifted her feet. Baiya was anxious. She held his hand and said anxiously, I'm on my period. You can't. Gu Lingqing paused and looked at his palm. There was no red. He looked at her suspiciously. She found it difficult to say it. After all, it was just an act. She felt guilty and lowered her eyes. It's true. Didn't you say it just now? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. You blocked my mouth just now. What should I say? Baiya explained. Gu Lingqing replied. He didn't make things difficult for her and sat by her bed. Baiya couldn't tell what he was thinking, so she stayed away from him defensively. Gu Lingqing looked sideways and saw her repulsion. His eyes were deep. Where are you? Where will I be? If there's any danger, remember to call me immediately. It seems like you're the one in the most danger, right? Baiya said unhappily. Who would do this to her room in the middle of the night and without asking if she was willing? If she didn't know that Baiya liked him, she would have asked him to die. Did you feel comfortable just now? Gu Lingqing changed the topic. Baiya blushed. She didn't want to answer his question. If you don't say anything, I'll take it as a yes, Gu Lingqing continued. I didn't feel comfortable, Baiya replied. Then change it next time, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. His eyes were locked on her and he replied seriously. What? Baiya didn't understand what he meant. What change? Change what? My fingers are a little thinner, Gu Lingqing explained seriously. Baiya, I remember that we broke up. No, it's a divorce. You even signed a marriage agreement with Zhou Hailan. Gu Lingqing, please understand your identity. You're a married man and a soldier. Should you say something like that? Baiya said angrily. Chapter 267. Baiya's heart tightened. She held Gu Lingqing's hand anxiously. Why are you so stubborn? Don't you think you're the one who's stubborn? What you think is right might not be right, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. But you have to take up your responsibility as a father. You and Zhou Hailan have a son. You need to be an umbrella for your future instead of wasting your time on a useless person like me, Baiya said angrily. Although that child isn't what I want, because he's my biological son, I'll take care of him and protect him to fulfill my responsibility as a father. This doesn't conflict with my pursuit of you. Gu Lingqing was also angry. How many times do I have to tell you before you understand that you can't? Before Baya could finish her sentence, Gu Lingqing kissed her lips again and swallowed the words she wanted to say. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Baya glanced at the door. Panic flashed through her eyes and her back stiffened. Xiaoya, who are you talking to? Su Jiran asked suspiciously when he heard the voice inside. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing angrily and punched Gu Lingqing's chest. Gu Lingqing took the punch and held Baya's hand. I'll come to see you in 2 days. Call me if you need anything. He kissed her lips again, got up and walked out of the window. Xiaoya, Su Jiran shouted. Xiaoya. Baya guessed that Su Jiran was about to break in. Wait. She picked up the wine in the cabinet and opened it. She took a big gulp and splashed some on herself. Then, she went to the bathroom and poured half the bottle. She placed the bottle on the bedside table and opened the door. Su Jiran looked at Baya's flushed face. Have you been drinking? Baya responded. He looked around the room. Other than Baya, there was no one else. Who were you talking to just now? Why are you talking to yourself? Baya looked at Su Jiran with droopy eyes. Su Jiran saw her phone on the bedside table and picked it up. It was turned off. He turned on his phone and checked the call log. There was no incoming call notification. He believed her. Why are you talking to yourself? I can be a good listener. Su Jiran put down her phone and said. She didn't have anything to say to Su Jiran, but if she didn't say anything, she would seem too guilty, which would make him suspicious. Practice cursing people, Baya said in a low voice. Su Jiran looked at her from head to toe. Do you still need to practice scolding people with your eloquence? Are you complimenting me? Baya asked. Su Jiran's lips twitched. He entered her room and sat on the sofa. Go ahead and curse. I'll listen and give you some guidance. I can't curse now. Baya looked troubled. Su Jiran laughed. Why are you so cute? Practicing how to curse people in the middle of the night. I have a headache now. I want to sleep. Baya asked her to leave. Because she was too guilty, she didn't look at Su Jiran. She put the bottle of wine on the bedside table into the wine cabinet. Su Jiran hugged her from behind. He took a deep breath and smelled the fragrance of wine on her body. He said in a hoarse voice, Xiaoya, I don't want to leave your room anymore. Baya furrowed her eyebrows. Su Jiran and Gu Lingqing were very similar in some aspects. Was it because they didn't become brothers? It was too dangerous to sleep with Su Jiran in the same room and on the same bed. Even if she had her auntie to protect her, her auntie was not an excuse for the rest of her life. If she let him sleep with her today, she wouldn't be able to reject him in the future. I can't sleep if there's one more person. Baya refused. Then don't lock the door. I'll come in after you fall asleep. Baya, you have to get used to me being by your side. We still have a long life ahead of us. Su Jiran said softly and licked her red earlobe. Baya's body trembled. She covered her ears and looked at him in rejection. Su Jiran smiled wickedly. Be more sensitive. Su Jiran, can you go and sleep? Baya sighed softly. No. He rejected her decisively. Neither hard nor soft methods worked. Baya wanted to lose her temper. Then I'll leave my room to you. I'll go out. Baya walked towards the door. Su Jiran held her hand and said helplessly, you should give me a deadline. Baya, I've given you enough patience. 3 months. Baya said. Su Jiran's eyes turned cold. Don't tell me that you're going to leave me in 3 months. He was right. Baya felt guilty and her breathing became unstable. Do you think I can leave you? She forced herself to calm down and asked. Su Jiran held her hand and pressed it on his stomach. It was scorching hot, like the butt of a cigarette, burning her palm. Baiyi subconsciously pulled her hand out and looked at him defensively. Help me get it out. I don't care what you do, get it out. Su Jiran said in a commanding tone. Baiyi frowned. Do it yourself. Su Jiran unbuckled his belt. She hurriedly walked towards the door. He grabbed her arm. Baiyi did not dare to turn her head. Turn back. Su Jiran ordered. She took a deep breath. In terms of physical strength, she was not a match for Su Jiran. She had her aunt to protect her today, so she should be safe. She turned around and looked at Su Jiran. The zipper of his trousers had been unzipped, and half of his shirt was pulled out. He was roguish and dangerous, as if he would turn into a big monster in the next moment and swallow her into his stomach. You have to give me some time to prepare myself. I've just divorced Gu Lingqing, and now I'm having sex with you. Don't let others say it, I also feel that I'm very cheap. I can't get over myself. Baiyi begged. Su Jiran locked his eyes on her. Baiyi, don't play tricks on me. I agreed to your request because I cherish you and want to win your heart. But don't waste my trust and play me like a fool, okay? Su Jiran warned her meaningfully. Baiyi knew that Su Jiran had a high EQ and IQ. If she made a mistake, she would have nowhere to hide in front of him. I'm already adjusting. Although it's slow, I'm already trying my best, Baiyi replied. Su Jiran flung her hand away. Wait here. He walked into her bathroom. Baiyi's heart was still in her throat. Her hands were trembling as she looked at the door. She could escape now, but what about after she escaped? Su Jiran would never trust her again. With his ability, it would be very easy for him to catch her and bring her back. She would lose more than she gained. She could only gamble again. In the bathroom, Su Jiran glanced at the rubbish bin and saw the female products. She was really on her period. He washed his hands, turned around and opened the door. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.